Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I had me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Realest podcast.
TRP Nation was good. I'm in the field today for a special edition of the pod. Today's guest is somebody whose music I personally listen to. You know, we don't have a lot of rappers on the show, so when we do, it's always either some sort of personal connection or just something that I identify early on in the process that's like, yo, we need to put our stamp on that, you know, and be a part of it, man. He's the biggest rising star in the Philly music scene and one of the biggest in the industry at large. His dense lyrical content and his pinpoint flow are a throwback to the true essence of a lot of legendary East Coast MCs. He's a Roost Picnic alumni, as well as viral appearances on The Radar, The Come Up Show, and the Wake Up Call podcast. His debut album, High Street, is streaming right now on all platforms. He got features on there and collaborations with Philly elites such as Core, Lights, Lil K.I. from Jerome, and OT The Real. He's been making a name for himself since 2018, and now he's literally has the world watching. TRP Nation, this is my favorite MC from Philly. No cap, Amir Ali, man.
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Man. I appreciate the intro, man. That's the best one I got so far.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you ain't gonna find many that's better than this one. I'm gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it though, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure. I reached out to your team. I was stalking everybody. I hit Siani, I hit Fresh Legend. Like I'm like, yo, I hit you personally, and you was a real responsive, got right back to me. And I just felt like it was important to I see where your star is rising and where it's going. And I'm just like, yo, if I could, anything I can do as far as helping you get where you ultimately going, I want to be in a position to do it. And, I've been talking to Dan for months, like Dan, for like at least 7-8 months, like, no, Amir Ali next, he next. And I was just like, yo, let's just give it a little more time, wait for it to cook. You put, it was building up, buzzing, seen a bunch of freestyles, put the album out. So I'm like, nah, now is the time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It's been a journey, man, for me. And I think I'm just blessed to be here. That's I feel like I say that, a lot of people say I'm super duper humble, but like it really is just a blessing for me to even be getting acknowledged that way.
Yeah.
It was a point in time where not that I didn't believe in myself, but maybe I just didn't have the vision I have now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And between, listening to your album, seeing the places and spaces that you are, the people that you associate with, the people you collaborate with, something that I really drew from what you've been doing is very intentional. Like, I don't really see any like accidental moves being made, or on your behalf or, from your team or whatever like that. Everything is very calculated, very intentional. And because of that, you're getting all of the, the respect and the adulation that you should be because of that intentionality to what y'all doing as, as a whole conglomerate.
Yeah. So I got a little saying that I've been sticking by, like, over the past like year is intention over attention. Because a lot of stuff is just attention based. It's all, clout, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, my approach was intention over attention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where, it's a lot of things you can do to up your attention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And those are tools that you should use to get to where you're trying to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really knock nobody for what they doing. But,
right.
I was like super intentional about putting this project out, and also like building my team and, I'm still growing, and getting better every day. But like, I had went viral and I was green. I just didn't know what I was doing. I was just getting back into the flow of everything, music and stuff. And I just was like, no, if I'm going to get into this, I got to like be intentional with what I'm doing. Like, I need to actually know what I'm getting into. You know what I mean? So that's where that really developed from.
Yeah. And to your point, bro, a lot of times, people, pray for or ask for certain things. I want to go viral. I want to make this amount of money. I want to do this. I want to get this amount of orders for my business, whatever. And then it happens and they're not prepared. So that's very mature of you to be in a position where you go viral and you just like, I got to take a step back because I'm not even really ready for what even comes with this.
Yeah, a lot of people was looking at me crazy.
Yeah, I need to go get all of my stuff together so that there's something to follow this viral moment and that there's actually, you know, something coming behind it versus just like, oh, I went viral and then now people move on to whatever that next viral thing is and I don't maximize or capitalize off this moment.
Yeah, no, it just seemed noisy. And it just was like, you know, it was overwhelming. I was getting all kinds of phone calls. And
how you get my number?
No, listen, like celebrities calling me. It was just one of them things, and it was like, all right, like I'm in a position where I was 29, I think. And I'm like, all right, well, in 10 years, like I gotta have a intentional plan over the next 10 years. I can't wander into something at 40.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like
You better know what you're doing at 40.
Yeah, I want to know what I'm getting into just so, you know what I mean? Like I'm just past that point in my life, or I was past that point in my life where, you know, I was wandering and I was lost. Like I was like, I felt like I came across my purpose. So I just wanted to give it my all. I didn't want to like, you know, BS my way through it.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
for sure.
I took the time to learn. I'm still with the same people I started with, you know what I mean, a few years ago.
Which is important as shit.
Yeah, no, crazy. And, you know, I got advice to do otherwise, but, you know what I mean? You know, I think I was intentional about that. Like, everything is intentional, like, you know what I mean? But I'm a chess player, bro. So,
right.
I love to play chess.
Yeah, and you understand delayed gratification because you're a chess player.
Yeah, so it's like, bro, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
So, like, and I feel like a lot of people in that sprint mindset. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
A lot of the advice I get is in that mindset. And it's like, if you giving me that kind of advice, you're not even understanding what you're seeing. You feel what I'm saying?
And we're not on the same wavelength if that's how you're perceiving my situation.
Yeah,
I need to take a shortcut or drop some people that help me even get to the point where I'm on your radar. Yeah. Why would I get rid of these people that help push me up the hill to get where I'm at now? Yeah. A big mistake a lot of artists make because, like you said, they be in an imaginary race against, you know, this, that, external shit, internal pressures, they be mine, whatever it is, they be in certain, you know, they be in like a rat race or artificial race against them things, and they make critical mistakes trying to shortcut or get where they trying to go. Yep. And the biggest mistake artists make is thinking it's about me instead of we. The team that you start with, the people that believe you and believe in you when it ain't no money, when it ain't no shows, when it ain't no Roots picnic, when there are no phone calls coming, that's who you need to be with because they're down to put their time and they sweat equity in it when it's no benefit. We don't know what this is going to be. Anybody could step in and see the trajectory that you on now and be like, oh, I can take this to the next level. Right, exactly. Y'all already did the groundwork. You got 80,000 followers. You got 500K over here, 80,000 views. Like it's the groundwork has already been laid. So why would you know, take somebody or somebody's that, you know, help lay that foundation with you and be like, nah, I got it. We got it from here. I'm going to go fuck with this big music manager from over here, and they don't even understand your story.
Impatience. A lot of artists be impatient, and like you said, they in their minds, they in this race that they created, and I think, well, not just themselves. Like I think it's just part of the culture, right? Where we kind of, you know, we stunting on other people, and somebody come up, you stunting on them for not being where you at,
right?
That in turn makes them say, I gotta get
to where it is.
Any means now. I can't wait. I can't grind for it. I gotta get there right now. And I think that, like, you know what I mean? You know, that's a sick mindset to have. You know what I mean? But you know, not every seed grew or seeds don't grow the same rate. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Some trees or some plants or flowers take longer to grow than other ones. That it don't make it less beautiful. It don't make it less, you know what I mean, fruitful. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I was blessed to be around some people that gave me that game, that knowledge. You know what I mean? Way before I even got to the music.
Right.
And I just applied what I've always known. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, take your time with stuff.
Yeah.
Put quality in, you know what I mean? And you wind up getting quantity. Like when you know the process
Yeah.
to make, you know what I mean? Something of quality.
You take your time with something and you put that that intention into it and that quality into it, you'll have abundance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these processes that, you know, we have in life in all walks of life, whether it be business, arts, whatever the case may be, all of this stuff is like repeatable. You know what I mean? And success is repeatable. And a lot of people don't be understanding that because they're so far detached from success that they think like, yo, I just got to do anything in order to get this success, rather than just understand it's like, no, if you are structured, you set up a guideline, a rubric of how you want to follow and get to where you're going, and then that works, that shit is repeatable. You can apply it to a lot of different other stuff in your life and be able to pull that success from it.
Yeah, man. And I think, you know, a part of it comes from me putting myself in situations that I'd rather had not have been in, and like having to grind my way out and just understand like, all right, some things take time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had the benefit of that. So that I just applied it to the process of my overall in general thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying, about the music and my career and just the music business in general.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, everything's speeding up and going 105 miles an hour. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And see if I can still get to the same place and, you know, keep one foot in front of the other. That's just how I look at it. Put your head down.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's good with you, I want to kind of go back to the beginning, bro. I think everybody's, you know, Philly story is unique, and they pepper with all these different experiences that you have that, you know, really make you who you end up being, like that create the end result. Walk me through your Philadelphia story. Take me back to young Amir Ali.
Yeah. Well, I've been in West Philly all my life. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, just growing up here, I played Pop Warner Sports. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a football player. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, I had different examples of what a man is supposed to be like. I think, you know what I mean? I saw the streets a lot more of the streets than I saw like successful businessmen. And I think, you know, I had my mindset on doing a certain thing, you know what I'm saying, which involved the streets. And, you know, I went through my trials and tribulations. And this is like the short version of it. It's a lot of details I'm sure you want to dig into, but like, you know what I mean? You know, I just went through my phases growing up, went through high school, dropped out of high school. You know what I mean? I was in the street, ripping and running, doing whatever I was doing. There was a period where I left, one of my homies had died. And I just was like, you know what, I'm out the city. It's too busy. You know what I mean? It's too much stuff going on there.
Where'd you go?
I went to Petersburg, Virginia.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which is actually where the name High Street comes from.
Because that was going to ask you, like, where did it name?
It's not from Philly.
Yeah. No, I looked. And I was like, all right, I thought maybe you got super historical and deep on them because, you know, Market Street used to be High Street back in the day. So I didn't know if it was like a double entendre or, you know, something like that, whatever.
It's High Street in Petersburg, Virginia. You know what I mean? That's where I went to. When I first got down VA, I was like struggling. You know what I mean? I had to kind of grind it out. I was sleeping in dorm rooms, sleeping in, you know what I mean, on people's couches and in cars, whatever the case may be, sneaking in and out of places. And, you know, I just got on my feet out there, and my first spot that I had got on my own
was on High Street.
Yeah. So that's why it's super significant to me.
Because it's basically like your coming of age moment, like as a man. It's like, yo, I left this tumultuous, trauma-filled situation, went here, started from ground zero again, and built myself back up. So, yeah, that spot is always going to be.
Home, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I was calling home, yo, I need help. They like, no,
they might tell you take your ass out there.
Yeah, you went out there on your own, gang. So, you know, and it wasn't no like love laws, but it just was one of them like the moments where
toughened you up, made you a man.
You know what I mean? And it gave me a lot of like sense of responsibility. Before I was like immature, I was ignorant. I just was always looking for the next come up, doing whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I just lived a certain lifestyle that just wasn't productive. You know what I mean? I saw like myself start to deteriorate, and it made me want to get out of it because I'm start looking around and all my homies deteriorating. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, it wasn't supposed to be like this.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? We kind of cut different. So, like, that's how I always viewed my circle and the people that was close to me. Is like, we got we go about things a different way. And, you know what I mean? We try to be super thorough. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know, I started seeing different things. It made me say, damn, I got to get away from this in order to find myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, little did I know that was just like the very, very beginning of that journey for real, for real.
Right.
I mean, because I was in for like much more.
50 Cent has a saying that he said he got from his grandfather, which is you'll only be as successful as the people you talk to every day for no reason at all.
Yeah.
So for you to recognize, like, yo, we kind of took a pact as a group of friends that we going to uphold certain standards. We going to carry ourselves a certain way. We going to prioritize getting money. We going to do this, that, and the third. And then you look around and you like, deteriorating is an extreme word for anybody that's listening. So for you to be able to describe it as that, it's like, yo, we're withering away and nobody's trying to be the force that's pulling each other up. Everybody's being the anchor that's pulling each other down.
Yeah.
I got to get out of this shit, or, you know, at least save myself, if not inspire y'all to do something different also.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like I said, it was the very beginning of that, because I went down Virginia and was acting a fool too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went straight in, because I'm coming from here.
Yeah.
I'm in a totally different place. Petersburg, Virginia is like 70% of the city is Virginia State University.
Right. It's a college town.
Yeah, so I'm on and off campus all day, all night. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I was kind of having it my way when I went up there. And like I said, I was still ripping and running, acting a fool, but I was able to grind, make something of myself there.
Yeah.
And then I wound up coming home, and, like, you know, old habits die hard. And I think, you know, I just jumped right back into my old stuff. You know, I lost more people. All kinds of stuff started happening in my life. And around like 2018, the end of 2017, 2018, I started just kind of having like this feeling, like I was really starting to have that feeling like, damn, I got to start changing some of this, because I'm just looking around. I was in a space one night, and this all kinds of gambling going on. It was like, you know what I mean?
One of those spots, yeah.
And I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
Bro.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was making a little money. I'm like, I don't even want to be here right now.
Yeah.
I just kind of had that moment, but I was really starting to have them thoughts. Those thoughts you was talking about, like, really started to creep in around that time after I came back from high street. You know what I mean? Because I was used to, like I said, I saw myself a certain way. Like, I modeled myself after certain people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, you know, that's all I really could see. I didn't really have no vision past it. And something just started waiting. I'm like, this is nutty. I ain't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go out this way. I don't want to feel this way. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, I had to start separating from my friends. It wasn't pretty all the time. It was, you know what I mean? Like, and then I had lost my right hand. Manny Dot, that's what everybody called him. You know what I mean? My right hand is our feet. He had passed away. He killed himself.
Damn, sorry to hear that.
In George W. Hill. You know what I mean? And you know, it was like this super shock moment for me, because, like, I think losing people before, and I lost a lot of people. You know what I mean? And when he died, though, I felt like I ain't had no more questions. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't looking for no answers. I just kind of was on like a, you know what? Life is kind of what you gonna make it from this point out, because you obviously don't have any control.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you gotta make a choice. You either about to crash all the way out, or you gonna make something of yourself. And at first, when he first passed away, I was acting like it. Like, you know what I mean? I was putting myself in stupid situations, like, you know what I mean? But, you know, you grieving, you emotional at that time.
Right.
I
I could imagine that, you know, in a situation like that where, like you said, that's your right-hand man. That's your best friend.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, blood couldn't make y'all no closer.
Yeah.
You lose that person. Like you said, it's going to set you on one. You basically at a fork in the road.
Yeah.
You're going to go one direction or another direction. And sometimes you got to go one in order to realize that you should have went, you know, to the other, whatever, and set yourself back on the right path.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean, that's when I really started to that was like 2019, 2020. Pandemic hit. I had a little fun. Around 2022, I started thinking about music again. You know what I mean? Like, I had a little moment in December of 21 I kind of like checked myself, looked in the mirror, like, yo, like, is you want to do this music stuff or not? And you know what I mean? I just was like, you know what? I'm about to really just try, and I'm gonna start by doing the very simple, basic stuff. I'm gonna do what I know how to. I'm gonna do what I know I can do, and I'm gonna really be intentional about learning how to do everything else.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see today. I just been taking it one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that experience that you described, as far as like, you know, you in the spot, you looking around, you almost kind of like see yourself where you are. Like kind of like I have an out of body experience.
Out of body.
Yeah. I had a similar experience, obviously not to that same extreme, but I was a party promoter for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And I remember one night I was in room service. And I'm like standing on like a little platform or a table like this. Yeah. There's 10 girls around, however many people, is bottles and this and this. And I looked around and I said, yo, I hate everybody in this fucking room. Like why am I? It's time for me to go. Yeah. And it just set me on a trajectory where the pandemic was basically like the final nail in the coffin, where it was like, yo, this is not sustainable. I saw party promoters and people that I knew that was making money for way longer than me, had strong careers as party promoters. They was down on their dick like they was broke because the pandemic didn't give a fuck about no nightclubs or y'all having no good time. We trying to stop a contagion. Like we trying to stop a viral outbreak. So we don't care about none of that. So that was like the final straw for me. And I was like, yo, I already got this podcast. I've been doing this for 2-3 years now. I need to just focus on this and scaling this because that's instant money that I can always make because I'm great at this job, but I hate the environment. I hate the late nights. I hate who I'm around. But this in the long term is going to pay off way more. And sure enough, it set me on a trajectory where I meet Spike Lee. I meet and interview Killer Mike. Right. I'm part of the Kamala Harris campaign, like stuff like that. So it's like, it's those moments of validation where I might not be, you know, making a whole boatload of money from them opportunities, but it's helping me raise my profile for something that I'm going to be able to do till I'm 70, 80 years old, like Ed Bradley. You know what I mean? And so it's moments like that solidified that I made the right decision.
Yeah, and I want to point something out. Not everybody is blessed to get to that point. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got homies that's still stuck. Like, and I try to explain with the, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, like, it's almost like somebody took something from up off my eye. It's like, damn, I'm just seeing things slightly different. I still understand. I get completely what y'all going.
Right.
I feel you, but I can't ignore this, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Once you know something, you can't unlearn it. Yeah. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know. I just was getting that feeling. I started slowly but surely, like, you know, just changing my surroundings a little bit. And, you know, I made slight adjustments. Because, like I said, I'm still with the people. I'm still with my day one people from even all the way back then. These are the people that invested in me. They was telling me then to focus on the music. Yeah. It was like, forget this. Back in the day, bro, I had no respect for my music career. Like, you know what I mean? You know, people would give me my applause and my flowers for being nice, but I just like that part. Right. I just like, all right, I'm cool.
Yeah, I don't need to do nothing with it. I don't need to monetize it.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking business with this at all. So, you know what I mean? Once I, you know, but my point was I'm still with those same people.
Yes.
And, you know, I had to separate to grow for a second, but they all wound up, like, you know what I'm saying? They
landed back in place. Yeah.
It was in their own journeys. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And, like, you know, that was for them to go through to get to their points where they needed to go. And I went through my thing at the time that I needed to go through it. And I think, like, you know what I mean? You know who really for you always be around.
Absolutely.
Some people here for a reason. Some people here for a season. So.
Man, I got childhood friends, you know, people that I met my freshman year of high school, stuff like that. I don't talk to them, but, you know, however many months. But when we do talk, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? And if it's a situation, they come in with a smoking gun. Yeah. So it's like some relationships that you form in adolescence and in them formative years sustain themselves, you know, through life's changes, becoming family men, people getting married, having kids. So like, it still sustains itself through those situations, even though y'all don't speak or, you know, interact as frequently as you once did when, you know, when life was easy, when we was 14, 15, 16, 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What high school did you go to?
Bro, I went to 6 high schools.
Oh, man.
Getting kicked out. I stopped at like around like 11th grade. I was skipping school all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I went to Motivation Bartram. like the first version of it.
Right.
Because right now I think it's in a different building. Then I went to Prep Charter in South Philly.
Okay.
Then I went to Lamberton up in Overbrook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like the area that I'm from. And then I went to Imhotep. That's where I like officially had dropped out. Then I kept like trying to go back,
Yeah.
get my diploma and all of that. You know what I mean, my credits was off. They sent me to Brook. They sent me to.
I was gonna ask you, did you ever touch Brook?
Yeah, I went to Brook for a second. You know what I mean? I went to Ben Franklin for a second. You know what I mean? And then eventually I just like, you know what? I'm off this.
Yeah.
Because I was ripping and running. I was in the street anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I was doing that more for like my folks was like, yo, Mayor, but listen,
gotta graduate.
You need,
Yeah.
you need something. You know what I mean? Then eventually I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get my GED. But,
So you did get your GED.
yeah.
All right, well that's good.
I went and got my GED. You know what I mean? Then when I went up to Virginia, by the time I got up to VA, you know what I mean, I was seeing somebody out there.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I used to go out there and visit, and that's why I even had the spot. So that's why I'm like, yo, I'm coming out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she was already in school
Gotcha.
at Virginia State. You know what I mean? So eventually I come up there once I kind of planted roots and figured out my little
Put the network together.
I just like, you know what, I'm about to go to school. So then I went to Virginia State for a couple semesters. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
Never graduated, but you know what I mean? You know, it's crazy. I was just talking to somebody about going back to school because now I come from a family of educators. You know what I mean? So I always understood the importance of education, but I was blinded by the street and whatever else I was
Right.
and whatever influences I had. You know what I'm saying? But now I got like a deep appreciation for like education and becoming, you know what I mean, and learning and always staying hungry for more knowledge. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the bag I'm in now these days. So,
and to your credit, your music is very intelligent, very poignant, very. I don't have to decipher or try to understand what you're saying. You're saying what you're saying,
right?
Even if it's in a clever way or it's a metaphor.
I was about to say, or like in my dialect, in my slang, you still kind of get what I'm saying.
I'm picking, like, it's easy to pick up what you're putting down, so to speak. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know, it was just refreshing to hear your music the way I got introduced to it, because I kept hearing your name, but I never heard no music. Yeah. Young Legend sent me your music.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah. Like me and him basically grew up in the same crib together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like I know him from a pup. Yeah. And you know, him and Sai, those my guys. Like this, and I heard the record that you did with Sai like 6 months before it even came out. Yeah. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Yeah. And he only maybe sent me like 15, 18 seconds, but it was Will Smith ain't the only one from West Side of Smack niggas. I said, yo, hold on, wait a minute. Like this is that talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, we hadn't heard that kind of talk in so long. At least I hadn't. You know, from people coming from the city, because, you know, people had their own individual musical aspirations. People want to be rock stars. They want to do other stuff, whatever. All of that is great. But at the foundation, Philly has the best rappers in the world. And for me, you picked up right in that spot of Philly has the best rappers in the world. Yeah, for sure. Because you were more of a, you know, a lyric driven and an intentional, you know, MC. Yeah. And in a world full of rappers, you presented yourself as an MC. Yeah.
And I think it's also somebody like early on, what I kept hearing was like, I sound like Philly.
Yes.
I kind of represent Philly culture. There's a few artists here that do.
For sure.
Right. And I think, like, especially up and coming underground artists, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Leaf Ward.
Super Philly.
He just represents what Philadelphia is at this point. Like, the younger generation is like, they relate to bro completely. You know what I mean? Shout out to bro. Free bro.
Yeah, definitely
you know,
free.
My guy. You know what I mean? But I just feel like I represent a certain perspective from here.
Yes.
That's like super relatable to our culture. And we kind of almost don't have our own culture anymore because of the internet, because we influenced by so many other places and people and things.
It's a lot of Baltimore and Philly. It's a lot of New York and Philly. It's a lot of Chicago and Philly.
I hear a lot of people complain about it, but I think it's just more so about highlighting the things that are Philadelphia, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that represent. So, like, when people say, all right, well, Philly got the best rappers, and then you hear me, it's like, I got a very high skill level, I would say, right?
Absolutely.
But I also like represent Philadelphia. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the way I talk, the way I say certain things, like I just represent somebody that grew up here, and I think like that's what's special about me, and that what a lot of people appreciate about me too. Because
for sure,
damn, that's what we mean when we say the best rappers in Philly is
yes.
Philly. You know what I mean? Like it's
and there's something to be said about being familiar but not being a copy of something else.
Exactly.
Like, so when I heard you, it sounded familiar, but I didn't compare you to nobody else or say, oh, he sounds like this person. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, especially with you being on a song with Sai can rap, like, and because he make girl records and stuff like that, a lot of people don't really be giving bro his flowers as like a super rapper. That pen is lethal. So to hear y'all together was just like, damn, you know, there's elements of his lyricism, his lyrical ability in yours, but it's not the same.
Exactly.
The same way as elements of Beans, Black Thought, Meek in your shit, but it's not the same.
Exactly.
But it's just little subtleties because, you know, I'm engulfed in this market and hearing these artists my whole life. So it's like I pick up on certain things and it's like, you know, I could tell that you come from a certain era and were raised a certain way by the shit that you put in your music.
Exactly.
Because certain stuff you can't fake.
And I represent that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's almost, people like to say, oh, you bringing this back and whatever. Like, people say these things, but it's really just I represent kind of like the part of Philly that we kind of like, we don't even really acknowledge anymore. Like, you know, and we all guilty of it. Like, I do it. I'm sure we all have.
We all do it. Yeah.
It's like times are changing, right? And there's nothing really. So as the times change and interests differ, right? I feel like the people that are new don't really know what to, like, they don't know how to even, I don't want to say they don't know how to do what I'm doing. They don't know how to represent that part of the culture from Philly. Because there's nobody, all the people, we all trying to do something else now. Everything is so different. Everybody doing a variety of different things.
For sure.
There's nobody representing that. And I think that's just what, you know what I mean, is so special. But that's what people really appreciate about me.
Because here's the thing. The lyrical path is the path of a little bit more resistance. You're going to have to work a little bit harder. You're going to have to do more. You're going to have to, you know, be compared to Benny and Conway and Stove God and like motherfuckers that carry that mantle of inner city street content, but educational, but smart MCs. That shit is not easy to do. But when it works because everybody from Griselda is rich. So when it works because you ain't got to focus on 500,000 fans. You can focus on 50,000, but them 50,000 going to be so rabid. They going to show up to everything you do. They going to buy every piece of merch. They're going to buy every piece of art you drop. They're going to be so active that it's going to feel like you got that 500,000.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's what I've learned. That's what I'm continuing to hear from people every time I hear somebody say it. It's just validate everything that I was on from day one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even hearing you say that now, it's just like, well, you know what I mean? Like, thinking back to some of the conversations I've had, and people trying to pitch different ideas to me, it's like, well, no, that's why I stayed down, because of that right there, what you just said. It's like, I don't need 500,000. No. I don't need the whole world. I need to learn how to activate this 80,000. If these people can send me $1 every day, 365 days, what are we even talking about?
Exactly.
Man? Like, why am I even paying attention to what you suggested to me? You don't see the vision as cool. It's not for you to see, but that's what I'm on.
And that strategy that you, as the leader of this, because at the end of the day, as the artist, everybody else is in support of what you're doing. Absolutely. So you're the de facto leader, and you got to understand that. But what you're trying to figure out is how to crack the monetization code, which is what a lot of artists never figure out, which is a lot of content creators never figure out. You know, being in the space for 8.5 years now, I've seen so many podcasters, social media channels, this and that, they all come and go because they can't figure out where the money is. And that takes people, like, you know, off the path. But the thing is, once you do figure it out, the job becomes it stops being so much pressure and so much weight on you because you know, all right, I'm gonna do a show and however many people gonna show up. But there's 200-300, it's money coming through the door because it becomes predictable. So now that worry of like, how am I going to do this or how am I going to do that or how are we going to get this funded? It becomes less stressful because you've already activated the audience and you've turned them from followers to supporters.
Exactly. And that's the mindset, bro. Like, and I think, you know, it's crazy to hear you speak that way, but because like a lot of people don't understand or know, or they don't go seeking that out. They don't go try to figure out how to monetize themselves. And I think, I'm just privileged to be where I'm at mentally now than before. When I first started rapping, I was 15 when I first started finding out. I was like, all right, I might could pop outside and people pay attention. Like, that's when I was young. So, but I had an ego. I thought I was better than everybody else.
Arrogant.
Yeah, it was just, you know, I wasn't in the right mindset. I would have definitely never I would have been on the people that told me drop my team. I would have dropped them. Like it's that, like I see myself in a lot of different artists. Like it's like I said, it's almost like that thing with my homies, like where I just had the epiphany. They might not have yet.
Yeah.
So sometimes I try to talk to artists, you know what I mean? And I ask them like, yo, so what's your goals? What's your, you know what I mean? What's your thing? Like, what are you actually doing and what you in it for? A lot of them may not know. They may not even be thinking like that. People not talking to them because a lot of the talk that they getting is like clout based. It's like attention. It's like, yo, we gotta.
Yeah, you gotta pull an antic in order to get this attention and get this.
It's right now, and you gotta keep it. You know what I mean? And you better not lose it, and this, that, and the third. And it's like nothing to do with selling a record.
Right.
They don't know how to sell a record at all.
Yeah.
They just wishing on a star.
Right.
You know what I mean? Trying to get a super viral moment. They not, but that's why the quality of music comes down.
For sure.
Because now we try and like hyper produce it and we using it to gain attention. And we not, like once you take the selling of the record away, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't even want to say take it away once that.
No, you're right though, bro. They've taken it away because now, you know, you have consumers where, they don't feel like music is valuable.
You feel what I'm
and
saying?
We grew up in an era, and I know I'm a little older than you, but we grew up in an era where it was pride in buying a CD or buying a cassette single or whatever.
It's a language.
It's a like I remember buying Dead Presidents Part 2 single because it had Ain't No Nigga as the you know what I'm saying, the other side, or might have been vice versa, whatever it is. Like I remember going into Sounds of Upper Darby and having to pick between Reasonable Doubt, Mace album, and High School High soundtrack because I only got $20. So it's like I could only get, but the music meant that much to me where it's like, all right, cool. The next dub I get, I'm gonna come back and get another one of these, whatever, because that music was one, intentional, and two, it was a soundtrack to our lives, and there was lessons and stuff like that we learned from a Jay-Z album or from a Lox album and shit like that, like stuff that we still recall to this day because it's a part of the fabric of us growing up.
Yeah. And if somebody came in here and gave you the same exact story, like, yo, that's where you got your joint from, I got it too. Like, y'all would bond.
For sure.
Like, you know, it's a language.
Yeah, it's connective tissue there.
Yeah, so it's like, like that energy that music creates will never die. The value that energy has, never die. Like, bro, when I first, so before I did my first Wake Up Call freestyle and went viral the first time where Cosmic kept seen it and all of that. And
so that's what got you on the Come Up show.
Yeah, it was a Wake Up Call. Yeah. I had dropped the song Sorry Not Sorry, which is on the album. I had put it out. But I was going around the open mics and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I would perform like 3/4 throughout the night. Like, you know what I mean? It's about to be over. Like, you know what I'm saying? And people not paying attention, they drinking, they talking, there's people outside, all of that. I start performing Sorry Not Sorry. People would come inside.
Yeah, right.
They are gravitating towards me. And once I saw, I'm like, and they would have, we was out every weekend, the year 2022. We was out all summer. We was out.
Yeah, we all was.
2, 3, 4 open mics a weekend. Like, cause I was just like, you know what? They gonna hear this song.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And every time I performed it, bro, people would stop what they doing, turn around, pull their phones out, like, yo, and be talking to me. It would be a completely different energy than other people that was getting on stage. And that just, it speaks volumes to like the value of music. And you know what I mean? You know, I think that there's still some value in the music now. I think that we just have to adjust to how things are just changing. We coming into a new era, and the way that we even grew up listening and consuming music is
Not the
different
same.
than it was 30, 40 years before them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't be totally mad at how things are changing, but I also gotta just represent what I feel like.
Yeah, you gotta stick to your guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you represent something and you believe in whatever that ethos is, you gotta stick to it.
And that's why I think people mess with me, because it like, that's what is me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You get me on the record. Like, as I'm talking to you now, it almost probably sound like one of the raps. Like, that's how I rap. It's literally just how I represent that era.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's just what my purpose here is. Like, I'm put here to do that. Like, just
for sure
represent the Philly culture in that way.
We jumped over it, but I do want to just go back to it real quick.
Yeah.
You from West, but West is huge. West is the second or third. I don't know if the Northeast is bigger. It's the second or third biggest part of the city. What part of West are you from?
So I grew up on my folks' crib, like my grandma's crib. When I was born, my mom lived at my grandma's crib for a hot second. So, like, that's my first crib.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's Hobart Street. That's right off, like, 59th and Vine.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So that's like my grandma's crib. But then you know what I mean, my mom, my pop, they went and got a crib on 54th and Walnut. You know what I mean? I lived there till I was about, I don't know, like 13.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then I moved up to Overbrook, and that's like around the time I had kind of like came outside. I was outside doing stuff before then, but like that's when I was like, I hit the street a little hard around there. You know what I mean? Once we went up to Overbrook. So I bounced around, and I got family cribs all over. Like, I used to, when I was first born, like I said, my grandma's crib on right off 59th and Vine. But my aunt, who used to watch me every day, so the crib that I was really at, like, you know what I'm saying, was on like right off of 42nd and Girard.
Gotcha.
Like, so I was there,
right?
Like, you know what I mean, and then I had spent some time on 60th Street at my other aunt crib. Like, you know what I mean, I bounced around like, I was raised all over West Philadelphia, like, you know what I'm saying. So,
but that's that again. That speaks to being from that era where everybody lives adjacent to one another.
Exactly. It's not even like that no more,
because that's how you create a community.
Exactly.
Like, I grew up. I'm a West Philly kid too. I lived on Brooklyn Street. 42nd and Fairmount, over that way. I lived there till I was like 13 years old. So that was like our family house. My mom lived there. My grandmother, it was my mom's house, but my grandmother came, lived with us. My aunt moved back from California, lived in there, whatever. But then, like, even like our neighbors, you had a family across the street. They had family that had another house down the street. They had around the corner. Then when I moved to 58th and Florence, so this when I was living in Southwest, on Beaumont Street around the corner, you had 3 families that had cribs all next door to each other. So it's like, that's just that era of like, yo, if you moving over there, we all moving over here, because it's like, you gonna need somebody to be a babysitter, you gonna need somebody to watch the crib, you go out of town, like, so it was a real sense of community. And it's like, we're so displaced now.
We a little bit of ways away from that. You could go get your cousin from around the corner. Like, it's
literally,
you can't do that no more.
You had instant friends. Like, yo, all my cousins right here.
I can go 2 blocks down. My cousin live right there. Like, you know what I mean? That's a different time. And it's definitely not like that.
What was a young Amir listening to growing up?
Oh man, a variety of things, bro. Like, the music culture in my family is goes deep. Like, my grandfather, John Skeef is my grandfather, who opened up Harambe Institute. That's why I say I got a family full of educators. Yeah. Right?
Me and my partner, we came and did career day at Harambe 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah. John Skeef opened it. But he also had his hands in the arts. So, like, he would be involved with throwing these concerts at the Man, right? So he had a couple of them going. I don't, you know what I mean? My family gonna grind me up because I don't really know this too well, but I just know, you know what I mean, he was doing that because I'm grandson. I didn't care. I'm just running around. But he he had his hand involved in that. So a lot of the artists that would come through the city, he was tapped in with him. It's a bunch of pictures, you know what I mean, in the and, you know, in the photo albums in my grandma's crib, like with him, my grandma,
Right.
celebrities, all that type stuff. So, you know what I mean? From back to like Motown to
Philly International and all
yeah, like to 90s era hip hop and then, you know, I grew up through all of that, through the rest. Like,
Right.
I mean, I grew up through the 2000s, 2010s, all of that. So I was listening to everything from that time. Like, I remember, it's funny, me and my mom was just talking about it. One of the first CDs I would listen to all the time myself, I would put it in the joint, is one of the Whispers Christmas albums. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, like I would put that on all the time. She'd be like, "You like this, huh?" I'm like, "Here though."
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but it was soothing, probably.
exactly. You know what I mean? But that's the type of stuff. You know what I mean? The Jacksons was in the crib growing up, and then like my mom, my pop, you know, they was a little bit younger than than my grandparents. That era, even though they loved that music, they was definitely hip hop heavy, like in the crib, hip hop R&B heavy, like. So I'm listening to everything out of Philly for sure. My pop was in the street, so he was ripping and running. And then when the state property era hit, he was on that heavy. But
right.
He was listening to Nas, Biggie. He was listening to Hove.
So you absorbing music from all these different sources.
DMX, like I remember. And then once I got to the age where I could make my own really choices without being influenced by anybody.
Yeah.
I remember like. I was listening to DMX. He was one of my first favorite rappers.
X was everybody's favorite early.
Yeah, X was, of course. I felt like Beans and them was by default because you know what I mean. Like we come from that era of representing Philly a certain way.
Yeah,
and that was like the ultimate.
They was Philly to death.
Yeah, that was the ultimate representation. So I think
Beans had me wearing Pro-Keds, man.
You feel what I'm saying? Like,
I had the SP Pro-Keds. You know what I mean?
Man,
and every state property outfit they made in a 2X, and I was 140 pounds.
I used to be like, yo, go get me the fake John. Like, I don't even care. I just want to look like them.
Yeah, I need the uniform.
Yeah, real rap. You know what I mean? So that, you know what I mean? But yeah, a bunch of hip hop, bunch of R&B. My mom was heavy R&B. She loved hip hop too, but like, you know what I mean? You know. And then I started developing my own joint, like I said, X. Always love Hove, always love like Kiss. You know what I mean? And then like I kind of grew up alongside Lil Wayne as he like ascended, and then I was like heavy Lil Wayne early on, and yeah, that was like that's what influenced me a lot. And then as I started getting into hip hop myself and start writing, I really did a deep dive and like started doing my history on stuff and like developing an appreciation for hip hop in general.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like everybody, bro. I listen to all kinds of music, anything, any genre, but you know what I'm saying? I was hip hop and R&B centric for sure.
I saw you said in a past interview that you basically grew up around Beans. Like he was kind of like, present in and around like the crib and your neighborhood.
I had
and
no
stuff like
clue.
That.
I had no clue. It's crazy because there was a time when me, my mom, my pop, my sister lived in Winfield. You know what I'm saying? Right off 54th and Berks. You know what I'm saying? And or 53rd and Berks, my fault.
Yeah.
We lived there. The neighbor under us was cool. He folks with Beans.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? He a street dude. Him and my pop connected.
Right.
They was always together outside. You know what I mean? And when when Mac first came to the studio, he in there, it wasn't the first time he came, but like it was like the second or third time he was there. My pop just happened to be at the studio.
Yeah.
So then they get to talking, they, you know what I mean? They connected off the rip. Like they just knew they was from the same era. And, you know what I mean? He like, oh yeah, that's your son. They start talking. He like, yeah, no, my pop like, yeah, your man, such and such. He like, get the fuck out of there. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and they start putting two and two together. And I think like, we all kind of had that laugh in the studio, like, and I was like, damn. And Mac looked at me, he like, yo, why you ain't never say nothing? And I'm like, because I wasn't, when y'all was doing that, I was just trying to ride my bike. I wasn't paying attention to
yeah. I wasn't in these grown folks' business.
I was trying to go play the game, ride my bike. I wasn't trying to do my homework. I wasn't trying, I wasn't paying attention to what my pop was doing at all whatsoever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, it was a great moment to have, like something that, you know what I mean, you know, I'll be able to laugh with my pop about forever now.
No, that's a dope moment.
Mm-hmm.
For people that's not from Philly, they don't understand how kind of insulated our music scene is at times.
Yeah.
Like it's real cliquish. Like this person don't deal with this person. This nigga fuck this nigga's sister back in the day, so they got a problem. And it's like depending on who and how you align yourself with people and certain stuff, it can either be easy or hard for you to like be accepted and like, you know, crack the scene. What is it? What do you feel like specifically you did that was able to kind of like fast track you to where it was like you're one of the few rappers in the city that's universally kind of like thumbs up from everybody.
Yeah, from kids to old.
You're like, what do you feel like you did that helped you crack the music scene in Philly?
It's funny, bro, because I'm not cliquish at all. I'm with my day ones, and we trying to figure this thing out. So anybody that is embracing me or showing me love through music, I just reciprocate. Like, damn, I appreciate the love, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And I think I've always stuck to my people, and I just showed as much love as I can. And I think it's genuine. I don't come off as like where I really want or need something from nobody. I'm kind of just like humble about it. Like if people come up to, like there's people I've watched their journeys, all right? Like Lena L, she used to go by Lean Bean.
Yeah. Kid with the gift. That's my homie.
Yeah. So I watched her whole journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we first got introduced to each other, like she was showering me with love. And it was like a genuine thing. And we, you know what I mean? You know, like we built this relationship where now we like this.
Yeah.
It's not even about music.
Right.
Like, you feel what I'm saying?
You had a mean School of the Gifted flip on the album too.
Yeah. Shout out to the school, man. You know, I got love for them, man. I got love for us. You know what I mean? And you know what cause we was shaking and moving. But you know, back to my point is just watching somebody go through their journey and then they return, you know, giving me love now. I'm stuck in that, like, damn, that's crazy. I be in my head stuck in the moments a little bit. So I just be trying to return that love. And I think that plus the fact that it's really, bro, just talent.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't even gonna lie, I don't do too much politicking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like pure talent.
Yeah.
And I'm easy to work with. I show up and do my job.
Right.
I don't like show up with a bunch of ego and none of that. I'm like, by any means necessary, let's just get the job done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, I guess, appreciate that. And the talent, bro, is just going, the word of mouth spreads.
Absolutely.
Crazy. And I think the quality of what I got, what I bring to the table, it's hard to deny it.
Yes.
Maybe
I agree
a little bit. And I think that, you know, even I don't even like to acknowledge people that I feel like may have thrown some shade or some hate towards my way, right? I don't really acknowledge it because one thing I'm like adamant about, and I tell this to my team all the time, you know what I'm saying, is I don't let what happens to Amir Ali affect Amir, or I try not to because I'm a human.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But like when somebody hating on Amir Ali, I could care less because my biggest obstacle is myself. Obviously, because now once I got over that hump, now I'm wearing, like, you know, I'm here in this interview.
Exactly.
So like hate wasn't the thing that was in my way. So I don't even like to acknowledge it. But you know what I'm saying, you know, I think that maybe that plays a part. I don't really even accept the energy that some hate bring my way. I'm sure there's probably been something. Somebody said something about me at this point, but it's like you said, it's just universally.
Yeah. Whatever it is, because nothing is 100%. You know what I'm saying? You know, you look at Rotten Tomatoes. I think The Godfather 2, which is the greatest movie of all time, is like 96%. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, using that as a standard, it's like, yo, it's probably as good as we gonna get is 96%. Like The Godfather 2 is 96%. That's probably as good as it's gonna get. But you know, whatever it may be, if there is a pushback or a hater or, you know, some sideline shit being said or some sublims, whatever, it's not cutting through, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, and you got to focus on what matters.
Yeah. The hate is
It's muted.
The love is so loud.
Yeah.
We can't even really hear what the hater might be. It might be out
Right.
there. I ain't going to deny it because that's just how.
And niggas are crap. Niggas are hate on anything. So, like,
that's just
like,
what it is.
you got the Lambo. That's cool.
I don't fool myself to think like, no, I know it's there.
Yeah.
It's just real quiet because the love is, and that's what I pay attention to and I feed into, so it gets louder and louder and louder.
Right.
By the time I even get to the hate, I'd be like, I feel sorry for whoever you are.
And by the time, when you on your journey, right, and you're being intentional on what you're trying to accomplish and being goal-oriented, by the time you even accomplish this goal, like you're going from, like lily pad to lily pad, accomplishing stuff. By the time you even turn around to look at that, they might even be a fan by then. No, bro, I was hating on you, but like I realized I was tripping, like you overwhelmed me, like. That happened to Wayne. Like when Wayne made that transition from Wobbity Wobbity to MC, it was a lot of shit to where it's like, yo, at the end of the day, he just locked in. He told Universal, y'all got one job, clear every single request, every feature request that come through here, and I'm going to do my job, which is go in the booth and rap and make the best songs I can make.
Yeah.
And from 2005 to 2009, that's exactly what he did.
Ridiculous. You know what I mean? And, I think... like you said, it's just hard for it to cut through, bro. I don't really acknowledge it, and
and you shouldn't.
That's happened to me too. Like where I might have got some funny energy from somebody, and then really I find out it's love there.
Yeah,
it's like that's why I ain't, cause Amir might flip out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Amir Ali, I can't let what happened to him, because Amir Ali to me is my product.
Yeah. It's your brand.
I'm not even. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So like, I feel like it's a character. It's somebody else. It's an outer body thing. Because it's just a business.
Right.
And I stay grounded with who Amir is. So like, I'm like big on my own mental health. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like things that get to throw me all off or trigger me or make me come out of character and do something that I know I shouldn't be doing. I try to keep that stuff away. If you want to talk about Amir Ali, I kind of let it fall off the side.
And I mean, that's mature you because, we've seen many endless rappers crash out over, people being offensive to their brand or their intellectual property or whatever it is that they build. It's a
vulnerable thing.
Yeah. We just saw Diddy and his brother just put hands on a nigga at DreamCon of all places.
Thing. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna always be perfect.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? And I'm from Philadelphia. Please, I know how it is.
We take shit to the furthest extent.
Yeah, I know how it is when you go out of town and niggas might want to play around and all that. I gotta watch who I bring with me.
Yeah,
because now I might be in a different situation, and now it's something like, you feel what I'm saying. So I'm conscious of all of that. And it's a very vulnerable thing to be an artist, to be a rapper, to put yourself out there. You gotta, like you said, be mature and be wise enough to know that, like, well, the character is not the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you gotta be able to separate.
And to recognize this is a pitfall and I need to sidestep this shit rather than step into it and then now motherfucker bring you down to their level.
And my thing, my question for everything, how I check myself is, do this got something to do with me selling a record?
Right. Yes or no?
If it's not the music business, what are we even talking about? Such and such say he don't like, or I can't rap it.
Yeah.
So I don't care.
Yeah.
I got 80,000 followers. I'm trying to get $1 every day.
Out of every last one of them.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? These people like my raps. I'm gonna put these raps out there for them, gang. You don't gotta like you.
Yeah.
So if it's not about the business, if you're not selling no record or selling a ticket, some merch or something like that. Now, if you get in, you take my money, that's a different conversation.
Exactly.
You get in the way to pay. Now I gotta pull you to the side.
Because now you affecting my livelihood.
Yeah, but if you not, gang, it's just about attention and, you trying to start a rumor, whatever the case may be, expose whatever that is, go ahead about your day, gang, because you don't really know me in real life and and I gotta be careful with how I react because I got people that I love that I know that's gonna jump off the building.
Yeah.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? Now that we going up,
right?
I done got so many, bro. Soon, just say the word. I'm like, no, bro. I didn't make it all the way here for that.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? We could have just been around the way for that.
And even if it ain't you, you have enough presence of mind to understand you're gonna get blamed for it.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
ain't gotta be you. You're gonna get blamed for it
it's on
because
the internet now.
yeah, you're the
Like,
star power that's attached to it. So it's like all eyes is gonna focus on you.
you got a
And
responsibility, or
the hardest
you
thing
acknowledge it or not.
the hardest thing to do in life is to disprove a lie or prove that you wasn't somewhere, you know what I'm saying, or that you didn't do this thing. And it's an unnecessary activity to even have to explore and go down.
I'm trying to figure out how to sell this record that I just made last night. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, if it's not about that, gang, I'm just, like I said, I'm privileged to be here to see it like that clearly. Because now it's just clear as day. It's hard for me to, and it's funny, me and my pop always talk. We say anger never got us any good result.
Yeah.
But that's how he taught me how to respond to stuff with my, like, you know what I mean? Oh, I ain't about to let a nigga play with me. It's just anger.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it fuels, but that don't never help me. I've always got myself in a jam. Thank God I never felt myself
Went
in
all the way to
situations.
to a
Like,
super
you know what I'm
extreme.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
but, you know, I'm just thankful to be where I'm at now because not a lot of people make it here.
Man, it's endless black and brown men in prison and in the graveyard because they use their anger and
because of that
intellect.
thing right there.
Yeah.
It's a sickness, bro, and you know it's there's an explanation or a reason for everything. You know what I mean? We may not know, we may not find out. But it got to be something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It got to be a way. It's a reason it's like that.
Yeah.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's a reason, excuse me, that we not taught how to deal with our emotions.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's a reason that families are separated, and you know what I mean, without going too deep. Like, you can start digging into stuff and start looking at it yourself. It's like,
for sure.
We not really supposed to be here. It's fun. I was with my man, shout out Fresh the Legend. I was in an interview with him. My man, the Jewel, shout out he had asked him, do you feel like it's crabs in the barrel in the city? Or do you feel like the city is full of something like that? And I had like interrupted, and I was like, well, crabs not even supposed to be in a barrel. Right. I heard that from like Hove or something.
For sure.
Like,
that's definitely from Hove.
And it's like, that mindset is like, yo, we not really supposed to be where we at. Yeah, the result and what's going on is horrible, and we should stop. We got to start talking to figure out how we can stop this from happening. But it ain't there by chance.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? This was constructed in some way by maybe not just one person, maybe multiple people with multiple agendas. But for some reason, this is where we end up.
For sure.
What I mean? And we got to, it's up to the people that have the privilege of being that wise, that can see it that clearly, to do something about it, because the other folks is lost. You can't. How am I supposed to have a conversation with somebody that I wouldn't even have a conversation with myself in 2015?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I was, please, whatever, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Because my day to day was vicious, and I'm going through things. I'm losing people. I'm becoming a man. Like, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I made some decisions that put me in tough spots. I wasn't even seeing this clearly then. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, it's up to us.
Are you proud of the person that you are today?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think losing my brother Manny Dot, I told myself I was going to be this person today. Like, I made the choice to be this person. Like, because I also knew who the other person was.
Right.
And
you didn't want to. I was tired of being that person.
I was close to being that person, though. Yeah. Like, because I was about to go off the deep end and really, like, wild out. And maybe my time would have got cut shorter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In some way or shape or form.
For sure.
And, so, yeah, I am proud of who I am today.
Yeah. I mean, because I asked you that because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
If you can look yourself in the mirror and be happy with what you see and understand that you're not perfect, you're still a work in progress, but you're doing the right things to become the final version of yourself. Yeah. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's all I really want at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I want to be happy with what I do with my own life here. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's important to me. Like, so, at one point I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I wasn't proud of myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm sure it's a lot of people that come from where we come from that's not proud of the decisions that
For
they
sure.
made, and they feel stuck and trapped. And it's like, gang, you really just gotta recognize how much you in your own way. You know what I mean? Once you remove that, the sky's the limit for you. Got your limbs, your brain, your freedom.
You could do anything from there.
Gang, it literally, gang. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I got a theory that I use in life that I tell my friends all the time. Like, yo, 85% of our problems are self-imposed. Like, and you know, not being able to recognize that is usually the biggest problem. That's why people say like the hardest advice is to take as your own. Like you talk to this person, you give them, oh, no, what you need to do is you give them a whole life plan. You talk to them 6 months later, they life exactly the way you said it was supposed to be. They done played out. They fucking drive a new car. They done moved to a new. Everything is great, and then you still in the same spot, and you like, damn, what the fuck? Yeah, because it's hard to take your own advice, because you don't even realize that a lot of your habits and your day-to-day actions are what's holding you back from creating that progress forward that you actually want.
Yeah, bro, you be surprised how like, and I was that's why I don't want to say that I was ignorant. I wasn't uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I didn't know, but when I found out it's almost like I found out I was in control. And it was like, damn, things is horrible because of, not to blame myself, but to, you know, take responsibility.
Yeah, I'm making bad decisions.
Making bad decisions, gang. Like, and you can't be mad at the world or mad at everybody else and taking your anger out on other things if it's you that's making the bad decisions, gang. Like, you gotta, if you want better, do better. You can literally just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I be trying. I used to tell my homies and like from around the way all the time, bro, just, especially, I used to tell Manny that all the time, like, bro, just leave. Like, what is holding you back? Like, gang, you can't talk to me about up and leaving. I did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I was going to survive. I thought I was probably going to wind up coming right back. I didn't know if it was going to work. I was going out there with a girl. You know what I mean? It was shaky. My folks was doubting me. Everybody, I'm like, man, listen. You know what I mean? And I did it. And it opened up a whole nother side of the world. Because now, not only am I spending time in Virginia, I'm spending time in Maryland, D.C.
Yeah.
I'm on my way there.
And them experiences change your worldview because you get to see more than this, you know, concrete jungle that you landlocked in. You get to see trees and foliage and different people or different cultures and families and stuff like that. And that shit'll ease your heart. It'll make you less of a savage just because of the environment that you in.
Right. And I think everybody needs that at some point, especially the young men here. You need to get away, go spend some time somewhere else because for real, it's being boxed in.
Yeah.
That makes them react the way they react.
For sure.
You know what I mean? They might not have seen, or even when it's a couple different things, you know what I mean? But you know, like definitely one of those things that can help is get away from your surroundings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go switch it up, go see other people and spend some time and talk to different people. You know what I mean? Like when I start looking around and everybody looks the same and does the same thing and like to the point where we're actually doing it at the same time, it's like, no, you got to change something up. And these young boys don't even realize how much they look robotic. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're moving around.
They got a uniform on.
It's crazy,
They all ascribe to the same shit. Y'all listen to the same music. Y'all go to the same places. Bro. Y'all don't go to the same places. Like, it's like y'all got like, it's like a script. Like, exactly. It's like you seen the movie The Truman Show?
Yeah.
It's like you in The Truman Show and you don't even realize it.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
You've pigeonholed and marginalized yourself so much in the method and the you know, the archetype of being like super gangster that you don't even realize like it's only this script ends one or two ways.
It's a sickness
every time.
It's a sickness, and you know what I mean. I'm affected by it. You know what I mean. Watching people go through it that I love, going through it myself, seeing people that went through it before me. It's a sickness. It's like we said a little earlier. It's like. That ain't just by chance. It's not by mistake. You know what I mean? That was designed in some way, shape, or
for sure.
I mean, like, there's a reason for it.
And designed with higher forces that we may never understand. Some of the stuff is blatant. You know what I'm saying? We can track, you know, the heroin epidemic.
Yeah, right.
The heroin epidemic.
We can track certain things.
Cocaine, crack, HIV, mass incarceration, 94 crime. Like, certain stuff we can track. But if they showing you that and telling you that, what's the other stuff that's happening behind the curtain that you don't even know nothing about?
Now we starting to ask the right questions. You feel what I'm saying?
You feel me?
That's where it gets like you know, and do your own due diligence. It's not for me to teach you to go and do that. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? I think that's something that you develop on your own once you get out of your own way. That's what my job is, to tell you, like, yo, you might be in your own way, gang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you might need to start experiencing other things so that your mind can start operating in a, like, you know what I mean? Because then everybody kind of comes to that point where it's like, now we starting to ask these different questions.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's opening our eyes up to what we may have been asleep to before.
Yes, indeed. I want to talk about the album because
Yes,
the album is phenomenal. You already
Straight up
explained
now.
you already explained the title and the meaning behind it. How long did it take you to put this album together?
Man, since High Street, I literally said there was a bar across the street from my apartment. I forget what it was called. You know what I mean? But I was like, man, they corny. They should have named it like High Street.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been called High Street. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I was like, watch, I'm gonna make something and I'm gonna call it High Street. This before I was really heavy on the rap thing. Like, I could rap, people knew I could rap, but I wasn't making it a career. And I think you know, like, I've been making it since then. I got music from like 2016 or ideas from 2016 that made it onto the album.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I got stuff as early as like maybe like 2 weeks before the album came out, I had just put on.
Yeah.
So like, it took me that entire time.
Right.
For real.
Yeah, something dope that I noticed because, you know, I dove into your YouTube channel and everything like that, and I saw the song 5179, and it was like July of 2018 or whatever. And I went and I listened to the song. I said, God damn, this motherfucker been good from the beginning. Like, you don't normally see that as far as like a digital footprint of somebody that was good from the beginning. Exactly. But then you see a gap, and then you see, like you said, around 2022, it picked back up where it's more frequent releases. It's the freestyle videos. It's, you know, you see the intentionality start from, you know, kind of like your relaunch when you came back or whatever like that. But I noticed about 5179, you re-recorded it, revamped that record, made it new, and it made the album. What was the thought process behind? Like, was it just kind of like, yo, this is just too good of an idea, you know, to waste, and you didn't care about the fact that, you know, however many couple of people had already heard it?
Yeah, I think that is one of my favorite raps that I wrote.
It's an amazing song.
So it's like, it just for that reason, just for that reason alone, but it's also significant because that I had put it on TuneCore in 2018. Somebody had just told me about it. I mean, I'm rubbing around. They like, yo, you can get your on Apple Music. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, bet. Like, so that's how that got on there.
Right.
I had no clue what I was doing. You know what I mean? It's funny because before I went and got my stuff right in my distribution, I tried to upload it like 7 times. You know what I mean? But I was doing it wrong every time. So I'm just like, man, whatever y'all want to get it right. You know what I mean? So that the 8th time is the one that everybody
finally
else
cut through and made it.
No, but I tried to upload it like 7 different times. But I had just tried it. And for that reason, too, it's like, it was like my first song.
Your first professional song.
Yeah, like where I put it out. You know what I mean? And then I got $100 on my TuneCore account. I'm like, oh, I done made some money from music. And I'm like, now it's up.
Yeah.
Now it's, you know what I mean? So, and like I said, it's just one of my favorite verses. It got a lot of significant topics and points and people and stuff that, you know what I mean, that I could relate to, that take me back to a time where, you know what I mean, that's just like super significant for my journey. So I felt like it needed to be a part of that album. You know, you know what I'm saying? 5179 was a part of High Street.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I describe a part of my High Street journey in that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A constant theme that I picked up on, and you could tell me if I'm on the right track or not, throughout the album, is loss. Loss of friends, loss of family, taking losses in the street.
Yeah.
How do you cope with and manage to deal with all of the losses that you've taken so far?
Now it's like we were saying, it's just, I'm in control, bro. So like, I used to have a struggle and a battle with depression, anxiety, whatever else. And now I'm just very serious about that. If I'm triggered, if I'm going through something, like, I don't play around.
Yeah.
I go get some help. I got self-help books. I got a therapist I can call. You know what I mean? My mom's like my personal therapist. Like, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't play around. And before, I used to not call her.
Right.
So, like, the whole time, she been this my entire life. Like, literally, since I was a kid going through stuff, she would sit me down and give me, like, all right, well, this is where you went wrong. She would always do that for me.
Yeah.
And, like, growing up, you know what I mean? I was and not ignoring it all the time, but, like, I didn't really take full advantage of it. Now I do completely. Like, if I'm starting to feel some kind of way, if I'm not focused, if I'm feeling like I'm lost or I'm wandering,
Yeah.
I check in. Like,
Right.
I don't play around. So that's how I cope now.
Gotcha.
Up until this point, I did not know how to cope though.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Getting high, ripping or taking my anger out on people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Doing people wrong, like not even caring. Not caring how stuff was gonna come back on me. I ain't care. It was always up with me. If you got a
Yeah.
problem, come see me. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, I think that's how I cope with it.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't know how. You know what I'm saying? I was
Right.
never taught how to cope with it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when I was younger, I consider myself really lucky. Up until the time I was maybe like 23, 24, I hadn't really like experienced a lot of like loss. You know what I
yeah.
mean? My parents is like young. I had teenage parents, so we kind of grew up together. So I had both my parents, my grandparents still alive, all of that. But when I hit like 23, 24, it just was like back to back to back to back to back. And from then to now, man, I probably lost like 20 people between gun violence, car accidents, old age, cancer, this to the point where it's like, you know, I hate to say this, but I'm kind of numb to the shit.
Yeah.
Like, where it's just like, oh, damn, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I lost a homie not too long ago, North Philly Meech, and it was like, it was so shocking.
Yeah.
But it was like,
Peace out.
but I didn't feel, I felt bad for him and for his family, but I personally I wasn't brought to tears or like no level of emotion. It just kind of like just made me look back on our relationship and different moments we had together and stuff like that. But I wasn't like sad. Like I wasn't emotionally moved in one way or another.
And I think some of experiencing loss through other people plays a role in that. Right?
Yeah.
There's like, you may not have experienced loss up until a certain point, but once you do, and it hit how it hit you, back to back to back to back to back, and then now it's just like a relentless, you start to relate to maybe the people that you saw growing up that was losing crazy too. And now it's just like, that's what makes it, like, a lot of people talk about how desensitized we are here. Because we are inner city. Like, you know what I mean? That's just how we grow up fast.
And Philly's unlike anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just a part of us because it's so relatable.
Yeah.
Like, you don't gotta have a homie that died. Your homie got a homie that died, though.
Yeah.
And you watched him go through the loss, and then, boom, your other homie lost his grandma. And then, boom, your other homie dad got killed. And then now, all of a sudden, you looking around, and then, boom, you hit your point where you losing people. Right? And now it's just now you relate because you go back to that feeling that you had when you saw your homie go through something. And it's like, damn, like, now I understand what that's like. And then all of a sudden, you look up, enough death starts to happen. It's like, it's just a part of life.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's really the stage I'm at, where I was like, I just understand and reconcile, like, yo, it's a part of life. Like,
yeah. And take your time to grieve. You gotta grieve. It's different stages in it. Like, it's a real thing. So it's, you know what I mean? You know, take your time to grieve, but you also gotta learn how to move on too, because like life is still happening. And I think we definitely are a little bit desensitized, but I think it's really just because it's so relatable, loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's omnipresent. Like, it's everywhere. Like you said, like, this person experienced it, like friend of a friend, a cousin of a cousin.
You know
like, it's like, it'd be so much to where it's like, by the time your time come up to start experiencing it, you just like,
exactly.
Oh, this what it's like? Oh, all right, then.
We don't even dig how much of a role that plays in our like, you know what I mean? Us being desensitized.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It plays a big role watching other people go through loss. You know what I mean? Because it's not just one form of it. It's like cancer, shootout. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Somebody got hit by a car or was in a car accident. Somebody was, abducted and this, that, and the third. Like, it's all kinds of stuff that I went through growing up. Like, you know what I mean? By the time I think around the period where I was like 9 to maybe 13, I think I had went to like 8 funerals.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? But it was different parts of the family.
Yeah.
Close. I had a couple family members that like, you know, I think in my song Before the Money Come, I shout out Courtney. You know what I mean? That was like my favorite cousin growing up. He got shot out here in West. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember at that time when he had got shot, he was like the third person in that list of people.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's when I felt like I was desensitized. I was starting to lose a little feeling. I was becoming numb to it because that one was so significant. I wasn't done grieving that, but
Do you get hit with another one?
here we are dressing up again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just become routine now. And then all of a sudden it slow down and you don't deal with it no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that period where it slowed down, my homie losing his grandma, my homie got shot. This happened. Like, now it's all kinds of different laws, and by the time I get to this point, if I'm not tapped in with my mental health, like I said, I might be doing whatever to cope.
Yeah.
You know
Or you might just literally go fucking crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That's an option too. Like,
happening.
yeah.
That's happening, bro. Like, and you see a lot of, like, Kensington is like a crazy place for me, or just people, like, you know what I mean? The influx of how people getting high today versus maybe like years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it's always been a spot somewhere, you know what I mean? But I see a lot of people that go through that transformation. I saw one of my homies, my young boy, actually a lot younger than me. You know what I mean? Loved to see me rap, was always in support of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I catch him somewhere. You know what I mean?
Damn.
She shot out. And it's like, I want to wrap my arms around him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I also was there to watch him go through and experience like a tremendous amount of loss. And I can't tell him how to cope.
Right.
I could say like, yo, gang, you might be in your own way.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? It might be you that's in your own way. You might need to start waking up to your mental health and taking care of yourself in that way.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
That's why you are where you're at. It's not the loss that defines.
It's your reply to the loss.
Exactly. And my folks, my mom always loved to say, she been saying it all my life, be proactive, not reactive. You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's
like,
a gem.
you know, I kind of prepare myself to try to, all right, well, when this happens, gang, how you want to take care of yourself if this happened?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Dukes for that gem.
Is there any other themes or plot points or whatever in the album that, people might need to be paying attention to or looking out for?
Yeah, so I did a few skits. It's crazy.
The skits is dope as hell.
I had a million ideas for skits because some of my favorite albums have the skits in them, and I wanted to make an album that I personally loved, and all of the albums that I personally love have those kind of skits,
right?
Where they just flow and they transition songs. I think one of the first skits is like my homies coming to get me, or my homie coming to knock on my door,
right?
And my mom yell my name to come so I can come outside. And
yeah.
Then it goes to where it's like me and my homies walking down the street, and we walking to practice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Y'all see Freeway.
And we see Free, and like that's a real thing. His son, you know what I mean, rest in peace, Jahad.
Yeah,
his son that passed away. Played for the same little league team as mine. He grew up around 66 and Lansdale,
right,
up in Overbrook.
Yeah.
I mean, where I used to be at all the time. So he was a little bit younger than me, but I remember when Jahad was real small, he playing on like the lowest level team.
Right.
At that point, I'm on the team that's about to go to high school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
was that 120s, 140s, something like that?
We was the 125.
125, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'm playing on the 125s, and I just remember always hearing the rumbles, but that was a real conversation that we had a few times. Like, and I had some homies that actually ran into Free. I had to make it dramatic because I can actually call Free and get him on the joint.
Yeah.
I made it as if he was there, but I know my homies that experienced the moments with me, when they hear that, they like, yo, it's like a little Easter egg for them that they gonna understand.
Yeah.
You know, my fans know now, but that's a real thing. Like, Jahad was really playing for my little league football team, and we used to see Free. He'd pull up in a car, and we'd be in practice like, yo, coach grind us up. Yo, run some laps. Y'all not paying attention. You know what I mean? Like, that used to happen to us. And then I got some other skits on there where it kind of seemed like this dream state. And that's my uncle. You know what I mean? My uncle Terrell. Shout out to him. He just came home from doing 30 years in Greatersburg.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Welcome home, Unc. That's
yeah,
great.
Yeah. He, you know what I mean? You know, got caught up in a situation when he was young and, you know, and ignorant. You know what I mean? But very educated. You know what I mean? He's an author. You know what I mean? I believe he got 2 or 3 books now. You know, and came home and changed his life and is a advocate and a mentor to the youth coming up. But I got him to say some like meaningful parts that kind of like are things that played in my head. Like, there's a skit that he does where he kind of speaking from the perspective of the streets.
Right.
There's like, yo, like, oh yeah, you like that shit, huh? Like, all right, welcome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you the person I've been looking for. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't know I've been grooming you. Like, you know what I mean? It's that kind of conversation. There's a moment where he kind of he repeats these lyrics that I said in one of my raps. I think it's at the end of the song Crown Talk with Kyle from Jerome, where I go, I don't even know what to say to you, letting life have its way with you. When you're flow and containable, I'm ashamed of you. Stop fucking around and put that brain to use. Go wipe the motherfucking tears and put that pain to use. You think you special. You think them niggas that you with gonna help you. You thought that bitch was yours until she left you. Now we getting disrespectful. You need to watch the niggas that you next to. How you get mad at God when he tests you? Say you love him when he bless you. Like, and I say that on the end of Crown Talk, but I broke it up. He say one part of that,
right,
and then he say another part of it at a different. So it's just transitioning points where I kind of hear him as like my conscious.
Gotcha.
So that's the role that he's representing. Yeah. So like not a lot of people know that. And then I think the last thing I would point out is on therapy. And it's funny, I was just in an interview and somebody just was like, a lot of people understand what those verses mean to you.
Right.
And I think that first verse I was trying to be super relatable. You know what I mean? To just different struggles and people that may be sleep to the fact that they may need to go and check in again because you might be in your own way, like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that like that's what that first verse is for. But the second verse is from the perspective of my brother that killed himself, Manny. So it's like, deep breath, this shit ain't a game, it ain't no reset. Maybe I wasn't crazy, I was depressed. Maybe I did do it. Maybe I felt like you could live through it. I said, maybe this shit run in my vein. Maybe I felt like all the drugs was wearing off. I couldn't stomach the pain. Maybe that shit you said was stuck in my brain. Maybe I'm trying to send a message when it thunder and rain. Look, maybe you mad at me. I wouldn't blame you. Now you a lone wolf, can't nobody tame you. But even when shit change, you can't let it change you. You thought you thought I was your brother the whole time. I'm your angel. That's some real shit. Maybe you gotta get some help, nigga. Maybe you gotta help yourself, nigga. I ain't gonna waste my time talking if niggas ain't even hearing me. It's like they buried you when they buried me. You fuck around and need therapy. That's all from his perspective, like some shit. And the people that know him know how tight we was.
Right.
That's literally how he would have said all that shit to me.
Yeah.
Are you know what I'm saying? So when I put it together with a rhyme scheme, his family called him like, yo, you sound just like him. That's exactly how he would have said. Like, you know what I mean? You know, I sat on the phone and cried with his folks, with my homies. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's like, you know what I mean? You brought him back to life, that type of conversation. So not a lot of people know that about that verse. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's super special, super intentional. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a phenomenal body of work. I wanna talk to you about you know, some of the features. We got really strong features on here.
Yeah.
OT the Real Lights, Amani Lauren, Lil Ki from Jerome, twice, Core twice.
Yeah.
With Kai and Core being on there twice, was that something that was intentional? Where you felt like they added something to like the fabric of the album, or did it just kind of turn out where it's like y'all was just so locked in creating these records, you're like, yo, these are too good to hold on to. They need to just be presented with this full body of work.
Man, shout out to everybody that's on the album. You know, I sat with Imani Lauren. Imani Lauren is my little sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like my baby sister. She like 4 years younger than me. So I sat with her and she, you know, she helped me develop the whole album. That's why as musical as it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I really sat down with some like geniuses and tried to put it together. But shout out to everybody. The songs with Core, I had made Either Way You Put It with Core first. Like months before we made the record, we kind of left it alone. It represented a different vibe than I usually rap on, and I felt like it brought some bounce to the album.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put it on there. A couple months go by, I run back in there, bro. He like, yo, I'm pulling up on you at the studio. You know what I mean? He come through. We wound up knocking out a couple more records. I already had did Before the Money Come. We did Either Way You Put It already. You know what I mean? We did another bouncy record. And then I just was like, I put on After the Money Come. I didn't know what the name was going to be. I always knew I was going to do a song called After the Money Come.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like he was there and at that moment
it all came together.
And that's it. Because I was listening to the beat for like a year before I even let bro hear it. You know what I'm saying? And I never knew what to put on there. I just always was sitting with it. And then when I had him in there, I was like, and I pulled him to the side. Like once he heard it, he was ready to go. And I was like, bro, give the game from the perspective of being on the other side of the fence. Whereas like it's not as green as we think it is. Like where we on that hunt and hunger and chase, like let people know what it's like after the money come.
Right.
And it's not necessarily money, it's more so success.
Yes.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like what is it like on the other side? So he went in there and then did what he did. And you know what I mean, you know, I just was like, this is After the Money Come.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I went and I felt like my verse complimented his like perfectly. Like
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like it just was, when I was listening to it and I didn't have the words and everything, I was already hearing that song some way. I don't really know how to describe that. But you know what I mean? If you're an artist, you understand like sometimes it works out that way for you. I was listening to it for a year, bro, and I was always hearing it. So when he did that verse and then I leave mine, I was like, this is it. I just knew. Yeah. So that's why he on there twice. And then Cobb wound up coming to one of my studio sessions where I was working on Crown Talk. And we was talking about the hook.
Yeah.
And me and bro like this. So, you know what I mean? He just like,
he bodied that hook.
Yeah, he went there. He was like, no, he was like, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, bet. He went in there. And I had him saying it a different way. But then he went in there and did his own thing. And I trust bro fully with his creativity. So I was just like, bro, go ahead. Do it. And he went in there. He did like the little background vocal to it too. Yeah. I'm like, damn, bro.
I didn't even know that he had that in his tool bag. Like, he's like with the vocal shit and all of that. Like, no,
I ain't gonna lie. Like, watching it in real time he's somebody I'm inspired by because it's genuine. It's just coming from like, you know what I mean? Like he'll sit like bro is recording songs no beat into his voice notes. Like he got the lyrics and the melodies and all of that together, and he'll find a beat and fit it on there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, recently he super tight. Shout out my boy Nas T and Jay Saif. That's, you know what I mean, that's like my partner with Crown Gold. He been linking with us and sitting and building the beats around him instead of fitting the song onto a beat that's already pre-made. And you know what I mean, you know, it's a different level of motivation I get sitting around, bro. Right. You know what I mean, so shout out to him. Like,
yeah, I don't think he's been slowly like unlocking all of his skill and talent and showing people this and that and making a conscious record, making a street record. Like he's showing people a lot, but I don't think people have any idea how deep his bag is as far as his talent goes.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to Lil Kyle from Jerome, man. That's you know what I mean, that's my guy. I'm backing his play 100%. I think he has a tremendous talent. I think it would be a failure on the city
if we don't get behind him.
Yeah, to let that talent go to waste. And I feel like that about a lot of other people. Yeah. But since we talking about bro, I just want to give him his flowers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody to feel left out. You know what I mean? You know, I'm going to get a call after this.
Oh, I don't need support, nigga?
Right. Yeah. You know
right time you on.
No, shout out to little bro, because I think he's a genius when it comes to, like, his creation of the music. Yeah. It's not ego-based. It's not anything else. It's literally just, like, some people, like, that's how my little sister Imani is. Music just comes from her hands.
Right.
She'll pick up a guitar and not know how to play, but she'll hear it, and then she'll start to, like, all right, and then she'll figure it out, and then all of a sudden, a couple YouTube videos later, I'm walking past in the crib. I'm like, I know that song. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, like, I feel like music just comes from bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, you're a genius in that, right?
Do you have a favorite song on the album? I got a bunch. So I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours.
All right, yeah, I'll give you my top 3, right? One is Therapy because of the significance. And I also felt like I hit, like when I wrote from his perspective, I felt like I hit such a different level of writing at that moment. I was like, damn, like I never wrote that clear from somebody else's perspective.
You hit like the Eminem on Stan level.
Yeah, that's where I felt like I was gonna like.
Yeah,
that's one. Sorry Not Sorry is 2 because of the impact that it's always had on people and the energy that it creates when I'm out and about and I'm performing it. Like, it's until you see it live, is it's really nothing like seeing it live and seeing the crowd engage with that song. It's kind of it's people love that joint, and you know what I mean. You know, I love the energy that it create. And then if I had to pick a third one, it would probably be damn, now you got me thinking. It probably would be nothing hits me on the album like the intro does. Welcome to High Street.
That's number 1 on my list.
Yeah, that joint. That's the way I started the tape and it ended the tape is like a super proud moment for me. I felt like I was searching for something to bring that same kind of level because when we did, that was one of the first songs done. The intro.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm like, everything gotta hit this mark in its own way. I gotta be able to bring it, but I knew it stood on its own. It was unique, and you know what I mean. Like, it just got that feel to it. It felt like a movie coming on. You know what I mean? So that's definitely my top 3: Therapy, Sorry Not Sorry, and then Welcome to High Street.
Yeah, I got like a top 8. Like, I'm like MySpace with
it's 18 on there.
Yeah, I got like a top 8. Welcome to High Street, Please Don't Feed the Wolves, Champions with Lights.
Yeah.
Either Way You Put It with Core.
Yeah.
The Time I Got Robbed. Cobb's Creek. Crown Gold Records and Crown Talk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, it's crazy because there's a variety of people that feel like that about each one of them songs, where it's like some people coming like, no, that Time I Got Robbed, bro.
Yeah.
That's the one. And then, like, you know what I mean? A lot of people say, yo, Crown Gold Records, like the end of the joint that you did with OT.
Yeah.
They like, we wish you would have made that a song by itself. Like,
what was your decision to because the two songs that are matched together are so different. What was your decision to put them two together like that?
I think I had a lot of decisions. The final decision was I really had like 27 songs I was trying to put on the album. And I was trying to find ways to keep, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like that OT record represents a gutter hip hop feel. And it's kind of short. So I just felt like, you know what? Let me put a spin on it.
Yeah.
Take it to another notch. Like, so that's where I just wanted to combine them joints, but bro, it was other joints that was combined. I had to take them off.
Yeah. It didn't fit
me up.
Yeah,
no, you know what I mean. You know, I think at first I wanted 11 tracks, then it went up to like 22. You know what I mean?
You came down to 18.
I started looking at the actual number of songs I wanted on there. It was like 26, 27. I'm like, something got to get cut. You know what I mean? Then I was trying to just figure out how to tell the best version of the story with the songs that I had and the stuff that because I was making music at the time too. So I'm like, damn, this song got to go on. When Lights pulled up on me, it's funny because when he pulled up on me, I was looking for a song like that. You know what I mean?
Bouncy.
I was trying to make it on my own, and I got a couple options, and people, you'll probably hear them come out later. You know what I mean? But when he came and did that, I was like, nope. This gotta go off. This gotta go right here. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's why that song is on the end of the OT record.
My favorite line from the album, something that really spoke to me, is on When We Die. You said, niggas be super opinionated but barely involved.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that you don't hear me at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's life in 2025. That's internet culture. That's life in general. Is like everybody is a fucking Siskel and Ebert, they Stephen A. Smith, they skit, like everybody has an opinion and they could tell you 10,000 things they hate about something but won't give nobody a simple line of praise or props to say that they appreciate something or it got them through a tough moment or they like something.
It's like you said, it's just the culture now. And it's funny because I wrote that verse in 2019, that specific, or I wrote part of that verse. I wrote that line
Yeah.
in 2019. It was early on. So like, but I started feeling like that where social media and just media in general has become so important. And I think I love the boom of the industry for media.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when it comes to podcasts and, you know what I mean?
Streaming and all of that. Yeah.
I think now it has created this culture within the culture to where as though it's like, forget being a talent, forget being the celebrity.
Yeah.
The new celebrity is the person talking about the celebrity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody, you want to be that person, the person that can give you opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people strive to be that. And I think, you know, it's where's money at, you gotta go. So I don't knock anybody for your hustle. You know what I mean? But you know, I think oversaturation of anything is, you know what I mean, a little bit too much, and we kind of leaning into that opinionated culture where it's politics. It don't got nothing to do with the sell of my record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it don't, like people got to make the main thing the main thing. And I think, you know, for media, for podcasts, and social media in general, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. And when people are business driven, you got to keep what you got to keep doing what keeps the lights on.
Yep.
And you got to follow what trends. You have to be up on it.
For sure.
I think it's just important for people to keep their uniqueness, and, you know what I mean, always be yourself, always separate yourself from the pack. And like, that's how we know what should be here and what should not.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? When I can't differentiate this from that and your opinion from that opinion, that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because we've gotten to the point in media and podcasting and streaming and all of that where you have blatant copies of something that already worked.
Complete copies. Like, not even a new idea.
Yeah, no, it's the same exact thing.
And then it just be people who I don't want to come at nobody's credentials, but it's just like, bro, like, why am I even watching this YouTube video?
Right.
Like, matter of fact, I didn't even turn it on.
The
I got
algorithm
on my
pushed it to me.
I got on my homepage and it's on here, and I'm listening to these people that I never listened to in my life, and I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm lost in that. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are asleep to that. You know what I mean? Like, whereas, like, we are kind of entering this culture where that, like, we got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? You know, it's not, it doesn't define you. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And a lot of people get caught up in opinions, and a lot of things, emotions are had from different opinions, and decisions get made from those emotions. And it's just like, gang, it's like too many people are talking. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we kind of got to
quiet the noise.
Got to quiet the noise a little bit and just keep what we need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think you've been doing this for 8 years, you told me.
8.5 years. And
8.5
before this, I did internet radio for 2 years.
Right? You're a professional.
Yeah. I put the 10,000 hours in.
Let the professionals do their job. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to deter you from chasing a dream or starting something new, but please don't make a exact copy of somebody else's drawing, because then it looks like you trying to hustle. And nobody likes to be hustled, gang.
Shit, we've been copied as an entity. I got somebody that I knew, you know, my whole life, like childhood friends from the Sandbox.
Yeah.
He jacked our logo. He jacked the like the superlatives, like jacked the whole shit. And they doing good with it. They in a different lane, but it was just kind of like when I seen it, when I seen it, I was like, yo, like, what's happening here?
Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy how some people would do it, because call it inspiration, call it what you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's just be careful.
Yes.
With how much of it.
I love that let's be careful.
Let's just be careful.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to knock nobody. Just start thinking about it like, damn, maybe I should do something that I came up with.
Right.
Your brain is useful. You got value in there.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And don't just go after what you see somebody else got, because you don't know what they had to go through to get to where they at.
I'm just so much of an idea guy, and, you know, we've been ripped off so much, and me personally just been ripped off so much for whether it's some slang or whatever it is.
It happens.
I don't even take the shit. I don't even get mad.
Just get used
I just get used to it. Like, I'm just like, yo, this is my calling. But I'm just such an idea generator. I just generate more ideas, more fly shit. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, when people think I'm gonna go left, I go right, and you know, and let them chase that.
It happens, and if you try to put too much focus on like that, and that's why I say just be careful.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like I don't want to put too much focus on y'all.
Yeah. But it is a thing, so we got to acknowledge that
exactly,
it happens.
Exactly. Because if we just keep being quiet about it, we're going to be at this point where we're completely overwhelmed by it.
It's going to be Attack of the Clones.
And we, you know what I mean? You know, some
you feel me? Like, it's going to be Attack of the Clones.
I was about to say some people are followers, some people are leaders, right? I feel like to be a leader, you got to know when to follow.
Absolutely.
Right?
I live by that.
And you have to have had to follow at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think some people can be born natural leaders, you know what I mean? But my point, bringing it back to what we talking about, is just like, there are going to be people that are going to follow.
Yes.
Like, it's just, we cannot do nothing about that because that's how we learn as humans. Like, you know what I'm saying? From what we see and that, like, our surroundings.
Yeah.
So if, you know what I mean, I got up and started running, ain't say nothing to nobody, and we wasn't talking about it, y'all gonna be in here like, what do he know that I don't know?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's just the nature of our being, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just gotta know when to follow, know when to lead, know who you follow, and do your due diligence. Like, it's on you. You are responsible for what you do. And if you following somebody and you literally just doing it just so you can, if you're looking for the next come up and you ain't trying to build nothing, and it shows in what you put
for
out.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why we see what we see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you see people copying, it's like,
and I think we're both, just to make the distinction, we're both not speaking about the people that start one way and then evolve and find a lane and turn into the the next thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about the motherfuckers that copy you ABC, and then they assume your identity and become what you are.
Yeah.
That's a whole different level.
Yeah, it's a sick monster.
Ray and Ghost made a skit about it. Shark niggas.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Man, I'm trying to tell you, bro. It's just crazy. You know what I mean? I couldn't understand it, and I don't want to speak too soon, or I don't even want to say speak too soon, but not make it seem like I could never have been in that mindset.
Yeah.
Because I probably could have. I probably was at some point.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just, God bless, you know what I mean? God bless to the people that stuck there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like I always say, I'm privileged to be as wise as I am. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I got a couple more questions, and we're gonna land the plane, and we're gonna end with rapid fire. But
yes, sir.
How did you develop your style? Yes. How did you develop it?
Lil Wayne, Jadakiss, Jay-Z, and then Philadelphia rap culture.
Yes.
I can't point to just Beans. I can't point to just this person. I can't point to just the people from the DVD era. It was
all of them. Yeah.
It was the Freeway and Cassidy battle. It was all these iconic moments to me growing up, watching people from where I'm from do these amazing things. Like, so those on the outside I just named, and then the Philadelphia culture. That's how I developed my style, because like the skill of Wayne, Kiss, and Hove, I was like infatuated with it.
Yeah.
I can't get enough.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I could listen to the same freestyles back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And I think you know, just the Philadelphia culture, or just all the different eras here, you know what I mean? Because like that's why I'm so big on representing Philly through my music.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that comes from watching the people that came before me.
Yeah. Writing or punching in? What side of the street do you stand on?
Writing. Yeah. I have an appreciation for people the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me and my engineer, my partner Jay Saif, I swear he fights me on it all the time. Bro, just punching, I'll be like, nope. I'm doing a whole entire 5179 over from the top. I have to feel every.
And if I mess up, start from the top again.
Yeah, I'm like that. You know what I mean? So, but I'm I love the art of writing. I love writing something down, looking at it, and being like, damn. Like, so.
Seeing the words jump off the page.
Yeah, I got an appreciation for off the top of your head, you know what I mean? Or just punching in general, but, you know what I mean? I want to visualize it start to finish. Like, I've always been a writer, so that's why.
Do you think that the rise in popularity of punching in, because that was only for elite MCs once upon a time?
Oh, my goodness.
Jay, Biggie, Wayne. Do you think that it's cheapening the overall art because too many people are punching?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And let's just talk about it, because
it seems like you have strong feelings about it.
Yeah, no, because it's not for everybody, gang. It's not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go write, gang.
Yeah.
It's okay to write. It's not if it take. And another thing, right? A lot of people feel like, because, like, let's just say I got in the studio with Meek, right? Meek probably ripped through his joint.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I've been in the studio with people where they go right in. Right? Like Core was one of them.
Yeah.
Core, he came right in, and but he is in a flow.
Yeah, he in the pocket.
This is years in. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And Core was a writer. We talked about this when he was on the show. Been on the show twice. That's really my friend. That's my homie. Yeah. We talked about it, like, he was a writer. Like, he was like a real stickler about writing. And then on Thorough, he was just basically like, I want to try it differently. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I have this whole reservoir of all this information.
That's what I was about to say, deservingly so.
All of this different lyrical shit, wizardry and all of that I did already that I can pull from. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
And that was his most successful project that he put out to date.
Yeah. I think deservingly so. Like, bro put in a lot of work, and that's what I mean. Like, but artists that would be in my position, right, where Core comes in, and he go and he knock it out, and now they feel like they on a clock,
right?
And now you get nervous, and that don't happen to me,
right?
I'm finna
sit here.
You want to leave, gang? You can leave.
Yeah, I'll be here.
I'm gonna be here, gang. I'm paying for the session. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them joints. Now, I have been under that pressure where it's like, yo, we gotta get this done ASAP.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and I can squeeze them out. Some of I got verses that came out that people love to death.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, for the most part though, I'll make somebody sit through my writing process. You know what I mean? Or, like I said, you don't have to sit there, but we gonna be in the studio all day anyway. Right. But
you could leave, go to the store, come back. Like, I'm gonna be,
and I'm super intentional.
Yeah.
About what I'm saying. I'm like, did I say this shit before in some way? Am I just saying? Am I rewording it? I'm like super careful about how I put things together. So I love that part about my art. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll get to the point with bro, where bro at, where he like. Yeah. I want to try something different. I just want to let it flow. That's deservingly so. You put years of work in. You know what I mean? But for me right now, I'm you know what I mean? And I definitely don't think that is for everybody.
It's not. PSA, punching
not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
Yeah, no.
And off the top is definitely not for everybody.
Come on, gang, please, right, man. It's an art form. You know what I mean? Don't disrespect the art form trying to be something that you're not. You know what I mean? So I think that those are my feelings on it, man. Just stick to, be yourself. You know what I mean? And fall in love with the actual art form of writing before you. I'm gonna just go at the top and you know what I mean? And like I said, I just was having a long, deep conversation.
You look like the conversation exhausted you.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? Because some people feel a different way and they got their own opinions, but. One thing my folks know about me, I'm stubborn. I don't care what you're saying.
And your process is
I'm
your
not
process.
changing. Yeah, I'm not changing my I don't care how you feel. You know what I mean? Because look at the result, gang. I'm not comparing myself to nobody else. I know I put a song out before High Street came out, and then I put High Street out. I'm interested to see what the next song does after High Street. Like, you know what I'm saying? And my process is for me to develop. Like, it's not for it to be sped up or pressure to be put on it so somebody else can turn it into a diamond.
Absolutely.
Like, gang, I got this part. Let me handle this. The rapping and writing part, let me handle that.
What's a studio session like with you? And what do you need in order to cook up, in order to make music?
I'm a studio rat, so all different vibes take different things. You feel what I'm saying? And I sometimes I got songs done where I got 20 people in there and there's liquor and weed flowing and there's all of that. Sometimes I'm sober and it's just me and Jay. And we've been in here for 10 hours listening to one beat. And all of a sudden, I got 32 bars and a hook. Like, you know what I'm saying? In 5 minutes. I mean, but I sat here for 12, 13 hours today. We went and got food, left, came back, wrote. And I mean, I might have had to leave and do something because our studio is like right around the corner from where we all live. And we all, you know what I mean? I might left, bro was still in there. I come back, you know what I mean? Then it's like, oh, record me right quick. You know what I'm saying? So I think they vary. But I guess if I had to describe what it's like to a studio session with me, come trying to make the best kind of music. Just that's all. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I don't have no ego. If you don't like something, say it. If I don't like something, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to offend nobody. I don't really care if I do. You know what I mean? Because we don't have to make music together. It's not like we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I can put my own songs out. You put your own joints out.
We don't have to collaborate.
We don't have to. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think, come open-minded.
Yeah.
You come in, because I'm just trying whatever to make the best song, gang. I'm not trying to be the best rapper all the time. I'm not like, oh, I got to kill my opponent or I got to kill my peer. Now, hip-hop got that competition aspect, but I don't let that speak to me too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care how you feel about my rap. Did we make the best song we could make while we was in here? And like, that's what I'll say my studio sessions are like. I'm just trying to figure that part out.
J. Cole talked about that when it came to Drake, saying that he always prioritizes the song first and foremost.
Saying that Drake
always prioritizes the song.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, I got on first person shooter and I'm trying to like tear a nigga head off and do all this super duper rapping, and then bro come with this whole other pocket, and then I'm just like, in the moment he's like, I don't know, but then I hear the song and I'm like, fuck.
It's a good song.
It's a good fucking song because he prioritized the song and he did something different than what I was trying to do. Yeah. And, you know, you hear that build up at the end where it's like, I'm one away from Michael, nigga beat it. You're like, fuck. That's what prioritizing the song sounds like.
You know what I'm saying? And listen, Please Don't Feed the Wolves is a great example of me holding back with some of my lyricism, because my first verse was like crazy.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, but I'm hearing a song. I'm hearing the whenever I'm playing the instrumental, when I walk away from the studio and I'm like, and I ain't write nothing down yet.
Yeah.
And I'm playing it. I'm in a car. I'm humming the hook. You know what I'm saying? So I always had the song. I can hear the song, but I just had to revamp the verses a little bit. I had to dial it back on how lyrical or just like what I was trying to do. At one point, it was just verse. It wasn't even like a break in the verse enough.
Right.
I just wrote a bunch of lyrics down because the beat had inspired me. You know what I mean? But then I tried to revamp. I tried to go in, and then I started listening to songs that I grew up on, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, this is, I remember being young and being like, damn, like, I wish such and such would have went harder on his beat, not realizing that it was a good song the whole time.
Prioritize the song.
And I love the song. Like, you know what I mean?
The song is burned in your brain, and you're like, man, he should have put some more similes in it.
Because I'm thinking on my man, but if I had the opportunity, I would have did it like this. Like, you know what I mean? Rappers it's almost like the starter pack. You come with that competition aspect, but once you start to see, and I guess other music helps me get to that point. R&B, soul music, you know what I'm saying? Rock music, whatever. I've been inspired by all kinds of things. When I see other musicians and artists collab, it's not that much competition. It might be a little ego competition about who's the best and who the people like the most.
Right.
But beyond that, when it comes to creation of the music, it's almost like you see a rock band get together and make a song from scratch, like a fresh song, like they not doing a cover.
Yeah, they starting with a drum lick.
It's a magical thing to see happen, because these people have to, you got to trust these other people at this point. It's a collaborative effort. That's how you should be collaborating.
For sure.
This ain't about if you got the better verse. It's not about that, gang. And if we wanted to do that, then you could just put your song out, put my song out.
And this moment right here is the solidification of why I knew that you Neo. Like
Yeah.
this, because it's like I knew that you knew that without me even knowing you.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's something about you, your intentionality, your song craftsmanship, all of that shit that lets me know you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're doing it at a high level as a result of that. And it comes through in the music, it comes through in your image, it comes through in how you sitting here talking to me right now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate this moment.
No, I appreciate them words, bro. It like I said, it validated me. It let me know everything I believe in on my own, the stuff that I'm coming up with in my head before people get to see it come to reality.
Yeah.
It's like it just validated all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Because this was a vision. Like CC in the back, I tell you, like I had to call her to the studio. I'm like, yo, C, now's the time. And she like, all right. You know what I mean? Then after a while, I was like, oh, all right. No, now is really the time because I wake up thinking about this every day, all day long. Like, you know what I'm saying? I go out, do my own thing, but I can't even sleep without, you know what I mean? I was telling somebody the other day I went to sleep. I'm watching a YouTube video on how to run a label.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure I got to figure out how these machines work.
Yeah.
If I'm going to use them, you know what I mean? Or I wind up getting used.
For sure.
And that's I ain't going for
that's
none
not
of
in the
that.
plan.
Yeah, no. So, you know what I mean? I appreciate them words, bro.
The Mount Rushmore shit goes viral every 6 months.
Yeah.
We're back to Mount Rushmores again.
Okay.
The Philly rapper Mount Rushmore. You get 4 slots, and if you can, explain why this person is making Amir Ali's Philly rap Mount Rushmore.
Philly rap Mount Rushmore. I am going to say Black Thought.
That's
I'm
one.
going to say Beanie Siegel. I'm going to say for me personally, Reed Dollars.
Got 1 slot left.
I'm not thinking of accomplishments or nothing or success or
You're just thinking
longevity.
pure ability.
I'm thinking
or the
Mount
embodiment
Rushmore,
the embodiment of Philadelphia rappers.
or what the things that inspired me growing up.
Okay.
Right. And what pushed my pen to the extreme level now. Right. So I'm not thinking about, because if it had to do with success, it might have been like Black Thought, Meek, Beans, you know what I mean?
Somebody else.
Maybe Cassidy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Those are the successful rap. Like, some people put Will up there, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that, but that's based off success. When I'm thinking like rapper.
You thinking Philly home of the spitters.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So I think Black Thought, like Big Bro, is gonna rap to the end of time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He rapping right now, probably.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's
He was just rapping Saturday.
It's serious. Like bro, call me. He will hit me. He will send me a rap. Like, yeah, I just did this in 5 minutes. I'll be like, it'll be 3 a.m. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so bro is like the elite of the elite.
He's a super saiyan with this rap
With
shit.
the rap. When it comes to rapping, you cannot deny him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because he's out-rapped everybody. He's, like I say, he's still rapping right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And Mac, I think it just go without saying. Like, you know what I mean? The influence he's had on us all. You know what I mean? Even the people that came before him. He left an imprint, and he was the biggest and the best representation of Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
I'll say that without a doubt. Nobody represented Philadelphia better than Beanie Siegel. That's why we all love him to this day. It's because when you seen Beans on screen, it's like, I know somebody that look, that act, that talk, that sound just like bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Mac is on there, and then his ability, like the skill.
Yeah. Out of this world.
It's not only is it high level skill, it's like super unique.
Yes.
Nobody else can really hit those pockets the way Mac can.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why he's up there. Reed Dollars for me, because growing up during the DVD era, his flow and his confidence in his rap made me want to be. I want to be that.
Right.
Like, I like Joey Jahan, me. I like
This
everybody,
nigga.
but it's something about the way Cuz is saying
Yeah.
his joint, and the animation. It just made me believe everything he was saying growing up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that he got a high level of skill. And then when I'm thinking skill wise, I gotta say Vodka. You know what I mean? Vodka 215. Shout out Vodka, man.
Shout out Vodka, man.
I think I always knew it growing up. As I got older, I found like a super deep appreciation for all the stuff that I watched growing up before.
Yeah.
And it's like undeniable. He's an alien.
Sometimes you make the wrong decisions in your life.
He did,
would make
bro.
you want to
He
come home and
different, bro.
beat on your wife.
He different, bro. And I be thinking like, yo, bro was here in 2002.
Yes.
2003. Like, I was playing football. I was trying, you know what I mean? I was like trying to get my grandmom to come to my game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
And bro was doing this
high level rap.
Like, people don't hit that level of rap.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of my favorite Jones, I love when, I don't know if y'all seen it when Vok battled Shotgun Suge.
I didn't.
A few years ago he battled, because it's like Vok came out the woodworks to battle Shotgun Suge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I watched it, and it's such a unique battle. It's in Philly. It wasn't structured. Like
niggas rapping.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it was 1,000 niggas in a building. You know what I'm saying? Respect to Suge, because he came through. He rapped. It's hard to rap in a Philly, and not only a Philly crowd, but with a Philly fan favorite.
Yeah, we're super biased.
Vodka,
we gonna wear our bias in that scenario.
And you should know that coming here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Vodka is a fan favorite. He could have went in there and said nothing, and we'd have still been like, yeah, Vodka, you killed him. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's how we rock. So, but he just showed his uniqueness in the way he battled, cause then his rap just turned into this long John, like
a soliloquy.
You know what I mean? And I don't even think they did a second round. I don't know if they went round for round or not. I just know that Vok wound up rapping for a long time, and it just allowed me to see, like, that genius don't never go nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, even to this day, he still is who I could see in 2002, 2003. Yeah. I can still see that kind of genius in him
in 2025.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, and like, you know, yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore that I would like to be amongst my pen. If I could be on there somewhere,
yeah,
like, and not to replace any of them but if I could be there, those are the people. If I had to say, yo, Philly got some rapping off, I would do these four right here.
Right. That's like the Fantastic Four of the rapping ass.
You know what I'm saying? And I, you know, everybody probably got their own opinions. I got.
There's no right or wrong answers here, people.
Yeah, I got mad love for different rappers, especially from different eras. Like, you know what I mean? I got mad love for you know, the major figures. Like, you know what I mean? That was on in the crib. Like, that's us. Figures for life. Like,
you have a favorite figure?
Speedo.
Same here, Spade.
Yeah, Spade growing up, for sure. Yeah.
I knew Spade, like,
when his parts came. Yeah. Like, now, I ain't gonna lie. I can't lie, growing up, Gilly is the most anime, you know what I mean? So, like,
he was selling it.
When his parts came on, I'm Gilly too. But, like, when I was listening for, like, the skill, I was like, oh, Spade killed that joint. Like, you know what I mean? So, definitely Speedo growing up. But I got a lot of love. I got mad love for a lot of different eras and a lot of different rappers. Everybody contributes to what you hear from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even the person that may have had one rap that was like, everybody saw, but you didn't really see nothing else from him again. It's right. Like, that contributed to me too. So, right. I just wanted to acknowledge everybody else too.
There was a rapper from the early 2000s that he don't really get a lot of respect, but he was fire. He was signed to Universal the whole nine, named Journalist from South Philly.
Journalist.
He was fire. Like, it was the three biggest MCs at the time from South Philly was Beans, Murder Mill, and Journalist was the third one. And there's a little bit of his style in your style as far as like the diction, the delivery, stuff like that. But he was that pen work. Like, he was fire.
Oh, you just put me on some history, bro. I'm going to check him out. You know what I mean? I love finding out new history, because that's the thing about me. I do my research and my due diligence, but I'm not a history buff. So, like, I'm always eager to learn something new. So, Journalist. All right, I'm going to check him out. Shout out to bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
fire.
Because you might take my skill to another level. You know what I mean? And that's what we here for. You know what I mean? Iron sharpens iron. And like, you know, like I'm interested. I'm eager to go find out about him. You know?
Last question, then we're gonna get into this rapid fire. Anybody you wanna collaborate with that you haven't worked with yet? Or it could be more than one person.
In the city or just in general?
Just period.
Yes. Is the short answer to that question. You know what I mean? Yes, because if I start going down a list, it's a long list of people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the best music.
Right.
So anybody, you know what I'm saying? I can see myself making a song with anybody.
Yeah.
For the right song. Just to make good music. I feel like as artists, we have a responsibility to make good music.
Yes.
You can put out the meme rap and the BS and the stuff that's funny and that entertains in a different way, but we also got to put out music with messages. We got to put out music that make people feel good, that make them get up out of their seat and move. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to do that because we communicating.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think when it comes to collabs, I'm open, bro, and I think with my skill level, I think a lot of people want to collab with me. I get a lot. I don't think people realize how overwhelming it is for me on this end, because people be beating down my door trying to get a collab, and I'm patient with how I make music and I create it. So like, I'm not like, oh, I fuck with you, let's get in the studio tomorrow night.
Right.
I'm like, we gonna make a song. You know what I'm saying? And then
might be 8 months, but we gonna make a song.
It might be 3 years. You know what I'm saying? But it when we do finally lock in, we might hit a stride and make 12 straight songs. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think I really just go where I align with. So that I think is more based on that. Like I said, it's a long list. If I had to go down like who I went to.
All right, well, let me refine the question then. If you could, and you had the ability to do a collab tape, 10 songs with anybody, who would you choose to do that collab tape with?
It's crazy, because when you ask me that, I put on my business hat.
Yes.
Immediately, it would be Drake.
Of course.
Right? It would be Drake immediately.
Smart man.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Get out of here.
We going on tour. It's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think, but Hove is like my personal, I would love to do collab anything with Hove, like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I appreciate the Hove we get now because he dropped gems all the time, and you know what I mean, even as rare as it is him rapping, he's still who he is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
like you said about Vodka, it don't
go
go away.
Go nowhere. That genius is still there.
It's still there.
You know what I mean? It's really just a muscle. You gotta work it out. And like, I would appreciate whatever I get from Hove now, but if I could get a Hove verse from when I was growing up, when it was 2001, if I can get a whole verse from right there.
I think rap wise, Volume 3 Hove is probably might be the best rapper ever. When you talk about just like production on that album aside, because there's some tricky production on that album, but as far as the pocket he was in for the raps, songs like NYMP, So Ghetto, like he was on what's the joint? We Ride with Juvenile, like he was just tripping. What's the other shit with Beans? Do It Again, like he was in another stratosphere.
Low key, that might be my favorite whole verse.
Do It Again.
Like,
he was tripping.
The way you could tell. It's funny because Mac told me a story about that. You know what I mean? I talked to you off camera. Like, you could tell Hov was just feeling himself at that point. Like, because the way he came in on that joint and just, he's all right, but he's not. Jay-Z, that's a different level of confidence in yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if you're an elite writer, you know. Or artist, you know, it's like bro, on a different, you know what I mean? That's one of my favorite joints to recite, for sure. Like, I recite a word for word with bro every time it come on. So, like, that if I could get a verse, if I could do a 10-song joint with him and get him behind Jay Saif production,
out of here.
You know what I mean?
Out of here. We need the Hove Amir Ali collab, man.
Yeah, it's gonna come, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I ran into Guru at the Roots picnic. You know what I mean? And, you know, I was getting a lot of love at that day, and at that time, it was a bunch of people around us. And shout out to Amir on the gram is joined his Motivated Youth, 215, and you know what I mean? You know, he was just bigging me up, the guru, the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Day after, Memphis Bleak like some shit.
Oh, so
I'm like, they talking about it.
He took this convo and went back to the last.
I don't know if it happened yet. Eventually,
yes.
Something's going to come across.
We lobbying for that, man. We behind that. I'm trying to Al Heyman that move, man. We got to make that happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? You know, God willing, God forbid anything get in the way of it. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's going to happen because if that moment, if my name is called at that moment, I'm going to be ready.
Yeah.
I'm always ready for when my name is called. So whether it's the opportunity to perform in a stage that I've never been on, whatever opportunity comes across, I just make sure that I'm prepared. So it's definitely going to happen.
Absolutely. Rapid fire.
Yeah, let's do it.
Give you two choices. It's a simple this, that, or if you don't want to answer, I'll give you the out. You ain't got to answer.
Okay.
J or Big?
Big.
Beans or Kiss? Exactly.
Kiss. Kiss.
Why?
Because I got my own personal infatuation with his skill. I don't think I'm not really comparing them. It's what I prefer.
Got you.
And I think I get something from Kiss that I apply to my every rap. You understand?
Is that structure?
Yeah, it's he's a rapper's rapper. You wanna listen to how you should rap?
Yeah.
Go turn on some.
If the aliens came down to Mars, like, yo, who's your best rapper? I would go get Kiss.
Go get Kiss. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the style, the structure, the authenticity, it's him.
Yeah.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? And like, you know, dudes talk about the streets and what's real and what's not. I think we got to get away from that a little bit. You know what I mean? But, you know, we'll on another episode, we'll dive deeper into that. You know what I mean? So
on that point, I'll say this. Icewear Vezo said the best shit ever on the Breakfast Club. He said it's okay to be a studio gangster.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and do all the dumb shit that you say in your music.
Gang, you're going to go to jail.
You're going to go to jail.
You're going to go to jail, gang.
Likely for a long time.
Come on.
Because rappers use a lot of hyperbole. You're going to jail for a long time.
Is incriminate yourself. I never learned that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was taught different. Or no, you supposed to be quiet.
Yes.
So like the code and all of that is like, yo, be quiet. Don't talk around. So don't talk on the phones. Why are we? Come on.
Fucking a chicken spot. I just killed the nigga.
Yeah, I mean.
I just.
On live.
I'm telling y'all, I killed the nigga.
What's up? I'm in the hood right now with the ops right now. I just smoked y'all, man. Look at him right there.
Paying the camera. Like,
come on. Like, it's crazy right now. So, yeah. We'll dive deeper into it later.
That's the next episode. Yeah. Just Blaze or Kanye West?
Kanye West. Because now are we saying producing?
Producers.
Just alone?
Just producing alone.
And yay, artistry?
You can do whatever the fuck you want. This is your shit.
I would take Kanye West because of the artistry too, because I feel like he goes to that next level of actually putting words on the beats too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that not every producer can do that.
That's
you
a
know
fact.
What I mean? And I don't know if Just can do it. You know what I mean? But you just never did it the way Kanye West did it.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I think Kanye West is one of the greatest artists ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can get it from idea to full production.
Yeah.
Like, to even get it to choir.
For sure.
Like real rappers can't do that. Producers can't do that.
Yeah.
It's like a hybrid of both that can even take it beyond that and make it on a bigger scale.
Kanye said some, you know, he says a lot of crazy shit, but when he was lucid, one of the real things, he said, I'm Prince and Michael. And I'm like, this motherfucker kind of not lying. Like,
yeah, no, he different, bro. I think, you know what I mean? I got a super heavy respect for his artistry. Super heavy. You know what I mean?
Alchemist or Derringer?
Alchemist. Uncle Al.
Benny or Conway?
Benny. Damn. Benny. Yeah.
I'm going to say this, and I know this is not about me.
Damn.
Once upon a time.
She ain't different.
I
ain't gonna lie to you.
That's where I'm going, right?
Rapid fire gonna get me in trouble because I was just being fast. Now I'm thinking, I don't know, it's hard, man.
It took me about.
I'm say Benny though because I got a super respect for Benny.
So Benny is like a superstar. He's out. He's out.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You know what I mean?
But the machine different.
The machine different.
That
bro.
fucking Charlie Sloth freestyle that they did, where I think Ricky Hyde rapped,
Yeah.
Benny rapped, and then Conway came on at the end, and I was like, everybody should leave the room. Like that, like he took it to a point where I was like, yo, nobody's qualified to be in a room with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Sold him for the Shaq, but I got him for the Brian Shaw. And I'm just like,
Bro.
what the
shout out
like,
to them. They the guys, man. They all three of them show me love.
Yeah.
I was actually in the studio with Ricky Hyde not too long ago. Me, him, and Jalil Beats. So shout out to him.
Shout out Jalil, that's my guy.
You know what I mean? But yeah, shout out to Benny, shout out to Khan. I went up to see Khan perform, you know what I mean? Was backstage with him. We busted up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy because when I first got back there, he didn't realize who I was. Like the person I was with ain't fully explain who I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, it'd be a lot of shit going on. So my man didn't even really have the time to.
Right.
But once he let him hear something, he listening. He like, damn. He like, what you say your name is again? Then he looked at me. He like, you the bull. Like, you know what I mean? Because he didn't like it. He didn't follow me.
Yeah.
Him and all that. So when I went to see him, he didn't put two and two together. So shout out to Khan though, man, because that's a hard joint. I can't lie. I'm really on the fence. I'm gonna stick with Benny. I mean, shout out to Benny.
You gonna go home? You gonna call me? You gonna be like, no, I changed my.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, damn, cuz cut that part out.
Cut that part out. The machine. I probably know the answer to this already, but Super MCs, Black Thought or Jay Electronica?
Black Thought.
Meek or Core?
Meek Mill.
OT the Real or Millie's?
OT.
Ray or Ghostface?
Ray.
You sure? Final answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah, I'm
All
cool. I'm cool.
Roost Picnic or Rolling Loud?
Roots Picnic, obviously that's home team. You know what I mean? Shout out to the city and shout out to the Roots and you know what I mean, my big brothers that, you know, gifted me with the opportunity to get on stage. So it's always
And you bodied it, by the way.
But I will say this, I am not a festival person.
Yeah.
I hate festivals.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I don't like the walking. I don't like the
I don't either.
I'm also
Walking in the heat.
I'm brand new to my celebrity. Right? So it's still overwhelming for me a little bit. I'm not at that point where I can just like glide through the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Like I'm watching over my shoulder, people staring at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
do they know? Or am I getting a bad vibe? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? So I'm still a little awkward when it comes to my celebrity when I'm outside.
Yeah.
I think definitely I would have to go Roots Picnic, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely not a festival guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Next couple festivals I'm at, I gotta find out about how to get paid
Right.
at the festivals.
Absolutely.
So I can be there.
Yes,
Like, you know,
monetization.
and you know, shout out to the Roots Picnic because Big Bro always gonna shoot me whatever opportunity I can, and I'm always like I said, I always show up ready. So
I think, you know, just based on where you are so far up to this year with the album out, the collabs that you're able to pull, the people that's on your line and all of that, you should be booked and have a set next year.
yeah,
I'm putting that out there.
yeah.
And if you don't, we riot.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
for
but that's
he gonna say it. Matter of fact, we're gonna clip this part up,
Yes.
and I'm gonna send it to Black Thought.
Yes.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying?
This is 100% a clip.
Yeah.
We need Amir Ali on one of them stages next year.
Yeah, and you know what? And he know me. I'm just gonna put the work in to get there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't asking for no hand. I don't want it. You know what I mean? We cut different, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, he got a respect for me about, like, in that regard.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He like that I don't be out here with my hand out trying to be in every picture. He be laughing. He texts me all the time like yo, bro, you thorough, little bro. You got your album is dope.
Yeah.
Glad you stuck with it. You know what I mean? Stuck to your guns. Like he always showed me love that way. So he respect that about me.
Absolutely.
I ain't looking for no handout. Just
Yeah.
if you call me, I'm gonna be ready. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. Power or Snowfall?
Snowfall, because I hated when Ghost died, and I'm biased, right? Because right around the time he died, one, I was getting sick of black drug crime series.
Got you.
I'm getting sick of them Jones. It's the same story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right. You know what I mean?
Motherfuckers go through the same 3 things every episode.
Yeah, it's like, damn, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I'm going to go Snowfall because I didn't like how Ghost died. I didn't like the whole transition. And I haven't watched anything since he died.
Okay.
I haven't watched.
Are you completely tuned out to the whole universe?
Ghost,
None of that.
Because right at that time, like, I haven't even finished Snowfall. Like, you know what I'm saying? So right at that time, I was getting sick of the black. I'm like, I need to watch some other shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm tired of.
I need to raise my vibration.
I mean, I go outside, see niggas running down, going here.
Power outside. Yeah, we got Snowfall outside
like,
the crib.
Too much going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just, me personally, I don't want to deter nobody. I mean, I ain't up here preaching.
Yeah.
I just was getting sick of that shit because it's the same thing. It's like, all right, man, they making. I almost felt like it's like, all right, y'all motherfuckers making fun of this shit at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like y'all, we glorifying it.
No, there would listen when Power when they got to the point where they killed like the third connect. I was like, all right, this is a cartoon. Like you can't kill a connect every other episode.
You know what episode really cooked me when I think Ghost was supposed to die. You know what I mean? Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't ever seen it. Ghost was supposed to die. He had his son with him in a truck, and I think it was he was with this boy.
Milo's pulled up the security door.
Yeah, but he got out of that.
Yeah,
I'm like, cuz he's supposed to die. Let that would have happened in the city, man. Please, I ain't even going there. But you know what I mean? You know, it started to become fake. I think you fall in love with the characters and the storyline and all of that at first, but then after a while, I just start getting sick of seeing that. So like the last thing I kind of tuned into that's even similar is The Godfather of Harlem.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I did it because it's actual history. It's an actual person. You know what I mean? And I like some of it, but then I started watching it, then it always get cheesy.
Got cartoonish, yeah.
And then it's like, all right, you know what? I don't even need to be consuming this shit anyway. Like I said, I see too much shit of it. I see too much of it outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't really need it. I just started telling myself, like, why am I even looking? I don't want to. At one point, I did want to be, I'm not a kingpin. I didn't want to be nothing cliche, but I did want to, like, all I knew was, like, this stuff my shoebox.
Right.
And if the shoebox get full, we just go get another shoebox.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Once I started actually learning, like, how the country was built and how money works and, like, the real wealthy person is in line buying a golf club with his grandson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And make more money than anybody I know from the hood. You know what I'm saying? So, like, once I started learning that shit, it was like...
It'll change your world.
I had to start, and it's like, man, I don't really even want to watch these niggas. That's, you know what I mean? Ghosts walking around looking, you know what I mean? It's just fake, bro. Like, and I ain't gonna say it's fake. Some people really live that lifestyle.
No, for sure.
Make it to that point. Make it to these points that we seeing on TV. You know it's fictional on TV, but
yeah,
it's like, I don't want to knock nobody up. I never want to speak ill on somebody else's hustle and they journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, it was like once I started learning how money worked, you know what I mean? I was just like, yeah, I got to get away from this shit anyway.
Yeah, I've gotten to the age where, you know, now I knock niggas' hustles. Like, certain shit you should stop fucking doing. Like, you're unsuccessful. You've been selling dope since you was 17, you 42, you never, like, had a car, like, or nothing in your name. You should stop selling dope. Yeah. You should go to Amazon and put an application in and fix yourself and get some money on the books because you're doing this shit wrong.
I can't. I don't know. And I guess maybe I'm just not at that point yet where
I'm sick of niggas, though, so I'm at a different point.
Yeah. I'm getting sick of niggas, for sure. I'm definitely getting sick of niggas, but you know what I mean? I just try my best to stay neutral because, like, you know, those niggas need help too.
For sure.
And, like, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, you might not be where I'm at, but it's like, you know what I mean? Because like, I'm not about to sit here and watch no fucking Power with you or do, like, I'm not, I see from a different lens. I got a perspective on it now. Before, I like I said before, I completely understand what you want, but you won't get me to do it with you.
Yeah.
Like, you know
that's a solo mission for you.
That's a solo gang.
Or another crash dummy.
Yeah, come on, gang. I'm cool. it's hard for me to unlearn what I've learned
Yeah.
at this point. You know what I mean? And I just seen something different where it's like, man,
When you have a like a physiological and educational awakening, and you start to really get knowledge of self and knowledge of the world and all of that, it's hard to do and engage in dumb shit.
yeah.
Because now it's like you're almost like cursing the information that you receive by doing that.
I would hate to be in jail.
Man,
I would hate to be in jail. Like, man, I know I don't belong in this shit, man. Like, I just know I don't belong here, because if I did, I would have went when I was doing a lot more stupid shit. And and if I, you know what I mean? Where you end up is you're doing. And like, you're responsible for where you land. And I think, I'm just so mindful now and careful.
Right.
That's really all it is. You just see a much more careful Amir than before.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
last four. Bad Boy or Death Row?
Damn. And I got to get rid of the music if I choose?
However you proceed.
Saying
hey,
either or.
Just pick one. Either or. You don't got to burn their timeline off like in Marvel. You don't have to do that.
Bad Boy, I can't get rid of Biggie and the R&B that came from Bad Boy.
Elite R&B.
I cannot.
Total Faith, Carl Thomas, 112.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. I grew up right there. It's like all them, you know what I mean? That's me right there, for sure.
Rocafella or Rough Riders?
Rocafella. Absolutely.
Why you answer so fast?
Because I think
you said X was your favorite at a point, so I'm confused.
Yeah, but no, Rocafella. Even still, even with me knowing that, I think even then I might have said Rocafella, even though I was like heavy X.
like we ain't gonna tip. You know what I'm saying? I like X, but
I didn't understand Hove when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I understood the aggression from DMX. I could identify with it. But Hove was too intellectual for me as a kid. So my pop ride, I'm listening to it, like, you know what I mean, when certain songs come, when it's Jigga, what's my motherfucker, I'm singing along to that. But when Streets is Watching come on, I don't know what he talking about.
Right.
I'm really like, man, turn this shit off.
Yeah, he talking a coded language.
Put on DMX. Like, I want to put on the song where he talking like the dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I was on when I was a kid, so I didn't understand it. But even I knew looking at Rocafella opposed to Rough Riders, it was like, it's something about them, the way they carried themselves and presented that they packaged Jay-Z at first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it made you want to emulate them. And I think just the way they carried Rocafella, through the golden years was like elite. I think it's to be copied forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why Rocafella.
Yeah, I think Rocafella is the standard for all boutique hip hop labels.
Yeah, for sure. If it's not like No Limit or Cash Money.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And those are like anomalies. We probably won't see that happen again.
Cash Money has been rocking for 30 years. They don't have an office. I don't know anybody that's ever been to the Cash Money office. They sold 2 billion records with no office.
Yeah, and it's like, that's whatever aligns for you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to put it out there that it can't happen like that for somebody later on down the line in the future, but like, it's an anomaly. It hasn't happened again. It's like
we haven't seen another Motown again. And that was 60 years ago.
They were privileged to be in an era where the information wasn't privy to them. Yeah, like it is to me now. And the label knows, they can tell that I know, because when I go to sit down and talk to them, I'm talking a different language.
Yeah, you talking about data points and revenue share and all.
Back then, they wasn't even worried. If a nigga came in talking like that, they were like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Sure, they just flagging it. Yeah. But no.
They know you know now.
Them niggas was smart back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They had the benefit of the doubt, being from the South. You overlook them. You know what I mean? That's rare. Yeah. Jay-Z, Dame Dash, Biggs, though, that's a little, you can emulate that.
For sure.
I can copy that and say, you know what? No, I'm going to stick with my niggas. You know what I mean? We're going to come up, we're going to put our own money in, and we're going to let it bubble. And the same people that was slamming the doors in our face, same people trying to have meetings with us now.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The same ones that slammed the door going to hold it for us now, so we can walk through.
You know what I mean? So that's why Rocafella.
Last two. Pete's Pizza or Winfield Pizza?
Pete's Pizza. Pete's Pizza. Yeah. I'm gonna just stick. Yeah.
Last one. everybody's favorite topic. The shit has dominated the internet. We all sick of both of these niggas the last year, Drake or Kendrick Lamar. And you can answer however you want. I want to give you the ultimate mulligan. You get whatever criteria. You don't even have to explain yourself. Just whatever criteria you come up with. Because this is the most polarizing topic on the internet.
Yeah, I think, when I think either or, I think what automatically pops into my mind is like, I have to choose one and I don't get access to the other one.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could not have Kendrick and not have, I could not have Kendrick and not have Drake. But I can have Drake and not have Kendrick.
Facts.
I think it's just hard because he covers so many different bases.
Yes.
Kendrick is like something specific when I'm in that mood and I'm feeling
It's
like,
linear. It's more linear.
I mean, Drake, I can feel like this. I can also feel like this. I can feel like that up here. I can go to the club and hear something that I'm not even listening to the words. It's just the bounce to the song. I get too many different, you know what I mean? So I can't, and the catalog is much longer.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think that accounts for something. So that's what I'm judging it on, is like, who could I do without? I'm a uber fan of both of them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I study both the rises. So it's like, I don't never want to slight one. You know what I mean? I think we do the conversation some justice if we stop talking about it as much and stop comparing them together. I think it happens at the top. You want to get compared. But for real, it's like those dudes is great in their own right. I think I just would prefer, my preference is Drake's catalog and what I got from him over the years. I could not erase all of that and keep what I got from Kendrick.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because that erases a lot of significant moments and points and times and different things that I was experiencing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kendrick is just like a small bubble in that history. A smaller window than Drake's window is in my eyes, I guess. So
yeah.
I
think you gave the fairest synopsis that anybody could give.
Yeah, because I try, man.
Because people they get crazy about this shit.
Yeah, no, I've had some back and forth with many people, man. If you want to know my opinion on the beef and all of that, I think both of them should have did better as MCs. I think I was disappointed with both of them.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And I think that the love that Kendrick got made me slight him a little bit more, because I'm like, I don't want this.
Right.
I don't want Not Like Us.
Right.
That's not what I want. I got my thumb on hip hop and my foot in the back of your ass. After
man gets good last laugh. Yeah.
I don't want They Not Like Us. So I was mad at Kendrick for that, but I think a lot of the times people was like, oh, nigga, you just a Drake fan. And I'm like, no, y'all don't dig. I'm mad at Cuz too. I liked the beginning of what he was doing. I felt like it was still a little gimmicky, but I liked it. It was a response to what I guess was happening to him. It was definitely a lot more people than just Kendrick going at him.
Yes.
So I was like appreciative of that, but I felt like that first song was gimmicky. I felt like
push-ups.
I felt like the Tupac and Snoop Dogg, that shit was gimmicky too.
I have a theory.
Unique. It was good.
That shit is where the shit just went completely left. Once he did that,
because you're obviously playing around with your food.
Yes.
And that's where he fucked up.
And I think he
played around with it.
I don't think if he did understand, because he's a very smart guy.
That's another thing I was going to say too. We be having this discussion, people, right?
Yeah.
We be having this discussion like he don't know. That's like, this is a smart.
No, this nigga's a genius.
Like he's suing UMG.
This nigga just helped sell a hot chicken company for $1 billion.
I would hope if you're going to sue Universal Music, that you are like
all the way buttoned up. You're not guessing.
Please don't do that, gang. Like, and now I got my own opinions about the suing. I got my own opinions about what I would do, but I got my own opinions about everything.
Yeah.
And it don't really matter. I just know that if you're going to sue UMG, you must know what the fuck you do.
You got a smoking gun.
Yeah, because there's no way you just go, because
many have tried.
Because if you lose, they're going to wipe you from the face of the earth. You're not even going to be, because no other label's going to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we dealing with a killer, and from what we seen before, whatever little sample size that we seen before, it's like, no, this nigga's a smart nigga, so I would hope it's not.
Yeah.
We only left to speculate.
Yeah.
I mean,
my speculation on it
I was disappointed in him
was a
too.
great word. Is
Yeah.
I don't think that he understood how rabid that Tupac mob is
Yeah.
with fans, and that they would respond like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck?" Like it was like literal blasphemy for him to do what he did with the AI and all of that.
Yeah.
Creativity off the charts, like it made sense, like it was hilarious, but that shit just set the beef down a whole different trajectory where motherfuckers was like, he need to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
He don't
I
respect
feel like he
hip-hop.
got a lot.
This
yeah.
nigga need to lose.
I can agree. He definitely got to a point where it was like he created enemies instead of
Oh yeah.
allies, and it's like if you gonna go out on that hill, do it all the way. Now
Yeah.
just be completely disrespectful and all of that,
Right.
but then it's almost like there was a not hesitation, but
No, it was a filter there.
there was like
It was some self-editing that he did.
now I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna try to be a little bit strategic. But now here's Kendrick. Now we hitting you upside the head.
Yeah.
And I got my own theories and opinions, man. And I think everybody do. We all just speculate and we don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I hate to meddle in other people's business, but like
Real rap.
I think that bro definitely created enemies for himself, and you lose by not rapping. And
Yeah.
I felt like cause even when not like Dust and all of that came out, it's like if you respond with like extra ultra hip hop diss track
Yeah.
that we gotta respect, it don't even hit as hard. But
Right.
now you only respond this way, and it's like now it's done.
Yeah.
And it's like, what was the point of the whole fucking thing? Why'd you respond in the first place if you just not gonna respond? Like, so it's I'm left to speculate.
I got a super conspiracy theory. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind.
I think these niggas are in on this shit together.
Yeah,
There's
man.
part of me that as long as it went on and the allegory of it dragging out so long, it's not a big percentage, but it's like 25% of me that feel like you niggas are friends and y'all set this shit up, and there's comeuppance in it for everybody involved, and y'all basically are using this lawsuit, using the pedophile thing as a buzzword and all of that to pillage the label.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
because Kendrick has more leverage than he's ever had with
I want to look into the camera and tell the people things like this happen in the music industry,
Yes, they do.
entertainment in general. You are being manipulated in some way, shape, or form. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't put that past them.
Yeah.
That very well could be happening.
I haven't fleshed it out, but
Yeah.
there's part of me that's just like, it went on too long.
Yeah.
Jay and Nas didn't go on this long, where it's the number one topic in music
Hip-hop,
culture.
The conversation about hip hop right before this, because this happened earlier in the year,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, the first record like that was March of 2024.
So, with that being said, right, the year before, people was, it's a decline in hip hop, and I think I Just Want to Rock was the first hip hop song that charted.
Yeah.
That the year before. And people was like, oh, hip hop is doomed. So when it come to conspiracies, bro, we could shoot them back and forth all day. Cause you know what I mean? I got my own, like, that's why I say I got my own theories, but like everybody do. And everybody they left us to speculate.
Yes.
They did all of that shit. And then all of a sudden they got quiet.
Yeah.
And now
Top Dog got on
everybody's
Twitter,
quiet.
was like, oh, that was great for the culture. Everybody enjoy y'all summer. I'm like, what the fuck was going, like, would you like, we supposed to unsee everything? He just called Cuz a pedophile for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm supposed to erase that from my memory? What do you mean?
It was good.
This
for
is
the
good
culture.
for hip hop. No, it wasn't.
No, no. And I think, like I said, man, I wouldn't be surprised if it was orchestrated, bro, because they do that a lot of the times. They do it with relationships.
Yeah.
Right? They do it.
PR relationships.
Yeah, they do. Like, you can be manipulated as a consumer. And I feel like the world was turned into one big consumer for hip hop at that moment.
Yep.
I don't think that was by mistake. Even if Drake and Kendrick may not have been in on it.
Somebody
was
calculated.
like, because these niggas it's been little shots and shit.
Yeah, but nothing to this, like a full blown
Why right now?
Why right now?
So it has to be a reason why right now. So until Kendrick and Drake come out with it, I'm just left to think it was the Illuminati or some wild shit.
Kendrick
you know
won't
what I'm
even
saying?
Kendrick won't even tell us why the fuck he made Not Like Us.
Or like that. Why
Why
did you get on?
Why your mind frame went to that?
No, to me it's baffling that all them people went at Drake.
Future and Metro Boomin did the most gaslighting interview of all time with GQ. Future said it was a beef. What I must have missed that.
Come on, gang. Y'all put a song out.
Y'all put 2 diss albums out. Everybody that hate this nigga. Then he said there was a beef. Damn, that's crazy.
That's what I'm. It's like, all right, bro. I know what I'm being manipulated, gang. It's like, okay, sure, but it wasn't no beef.
It couldn't have been.
Yeah,
that was a figment of our imagination.
I'm from Philly, bro. You can't pull I grew up my entire life with somebody trying to pull a fast one.
Yes,
that's what everybody out here was trained to do.
From the first time you
get over
that
on
nigga
somebody else,
playing 3 Cat Monty in front of the gallery
like all day long, every day out here, somebody's trying to get over. So I know I can smell it from a mile away.
Yeah,
and I knew with this joint, it probably is some weird backdoor shit we don't see, some puppet string.
It
shit
feels very coordinated.
Yeah, and it's like the whole thing. It's just and
the other
me
reason,
as a huge fan for them being disappointed.
Yeah,
is my highlight from the whole thing.
Right,
I hated it.
Yeah,
I was sitting there cringing like, all right, because I'm like, Kendrick about to kill this nigga now, and then I'm like, yo, we went too bouncy, gang. I'm like, no. Like, I get it. I get the business.
Right.
And if I'm a label exec, we want Not Like That, Not Like Us.
All day, every day.
But
the song is 8 times platinum.
As me, the rapper, who is hungry for the kill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think we were spoiled with prior rap beefs where people went in for that kill, and it's not so business structured or organized.
For sure.
Or, you know what I mean? It's not so much strategy. It was straight just adrenaline. Like, when they heard that Kissing Them was, or Nas was going that whole, Young Gunna went up there, like, they ran to the radio station.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just adrenaline. That's just like, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I kind of wanted in through lyricism. I'm looking at them as juggernauts, and it's like
and elite lyricists in their own rights, both of them.
Yeah, I felt like I was let down for sure.
I could resonate with that film.
You know what I mean? Like, I could have did without. I just would have rather y'all just sub each other, because now it's like this hoopla, like you said. We having this continuous conversation, Drake or Cuz, and it's like, man, neither one of them niggas hit the expectation that I set for them. Like, you know what I'm saying, or the bar that I felt like they set in my mind.
Yeah,
they didn't get there, and it's like, man, I might have just go play some old Kendrick. I don't really this album, right?
Yeah,
my folks love this album.
I hate the album.
I don't like the album.
I hate it.
Because
I like.
Now it's like, are you doing this
heavy
because what's the name went successful?
I think it's very top heavy. I think he made an album more in the pocket of a Vince Staples than a Kendrick.
Yeah.
Where he was fishing for the syncs and the movie placements and all of that, and rightfully so. You got him, but the music is not that good. Like, half the album is great, and the other half is like, we're never going to hear these songs again.
Right. And I think, man, I am a super fan of how he put prior albums together.
Yeah.
And this one wasn't. I felt like it was driven and generated from this beef.
For sure.
It stemmed from this shit. And it's like, I almost wish we didn't get this.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't even do this shit, because, like, I don't know, man. I guess what I'm expecting wasn't there for me. And, you know what I mean? You know, it's a kid somewhere that's like, yo, that rap beef was the best thing in it. You know what I mean? So it's for somebody.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was a little bit let down, because at one point I'm like, Drake about to get this nigga. And I'm like, all right, the nigga don't never get this.
Yeah, he's just constantly playing with his food the whole time.
Come on, like, bro, get this nigga, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all being soft with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this shit's supposed to be like, you know what I mean? And I thought Drake would have went crazy after the pedophile shit, but it's always seemed like, bro, reserve his energy for something.
Yeah.
But where is this big red button that you gonna press on the industry? Maybe it's the suing the league.
Maybe it's the lawsuit.
Let me just shut up and mind my business, because this shit is above my pay grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And here I am giving my opinion on camera like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, talking about some shit I don't know. Like, You know what I'm saying? But as a fan, I think I just wanted a little bit more out of him.
And I can resonate and respect that position, man. Amir Ali, man, phenomenal interview.
Yeah,
I had no idea we was gonna be here almost 3 hours
no bullshit.
chatting it up, but we got to do a part 2 and a part 3 and so forth and so on, man.
As I put more work in, I'll be here. You know what I mean, we on our rise to the top.
Yes,
Like,
indeed.
you know what I mean? We connected now, so
Yeah.
anything you need from me, whenever y'all need anything, just hit me. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like, you know what
Sure.
I mean? I got a whole team, so like we trying to get more into branding. Cause I got my own record label. Crown Gold Records.
right.
You know what I mean? And we fleshing it out and we expanding, we getting bigger and bigger. I'm the first product, but we got multiple products in the pipeline, and we looking for new artists, and you know what I mean? We actually trying to learn how to make this thing be a machine. So I'm gonna tap into y'all and
For sure.
see how we can use each other.
Without a
You know
doubt,
what I'm
man.
saying? So
Most important thing in life is utility, being useful, man.
yeah, bro.
Being useful does not mean being used.
Yeah, I was about to say, use me, don't abuse me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be abused, but I am here to bring value to other people. So, you know
Absolutely,
what I mean? That's what builds the foundation for networking. Just understanding that. So, like I said, bro, I'm here.
Love the convo. Love the, just the energy, the insight, everything, bro. Give everybody, look into the camera, give everybody your socials where they can find you, websites, anything that they need to be on the lookout for from Amir Ali.
Yeah, man. What's your boy Amir Ali, man? West Philly in the building. Crown Gold is in the building, man. You can find me on all social platforms at the number 1 for Gordy. And some accounts have the dash in front, some of them don't. That's a issue with Meta I gotta deal with. But we in the process of getting that fixed. But the number 1 for Gordy on everything. And then on all music platforms, YouTube, on the internet, Amir Ali, website dropping soon, merch dropping soon. We doing a show, a headlining show, my first show.
Congrats.
At City Winery. We locking them details in now. I'm gonna be having that being announced soon. A lot more content coming. Just stay tuned, man, because I'm 1 foot in front of the other, but we coming, and I take it serious. My intention, you can see my intention in everything we do. So
yes, indeed.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Phenomenal album, High Street, out right now. Make sure y'all go stream that album.
Absolutely.
Go to iTunes, buy the album too.
Yes, sir. Even.biz. You can buy it directly from me. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that bought the album on Even. You know what I mean? It's a pay what you want. You know what I mean? So the people that paid $100 is some people that paid $30, $20 for the album, and they listening to it on Apple Music. They just did it to support me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I definitely wanted to show love to them. We got something special coming for y'all. Shout out to everybody that's on my mailing list, man. And like he said, High Street out now everywhere. You know what I mean?
Amir Ali, your boy Chad, the realest podcast ever.
Yes, sir.
We out of here.
Before we get to that, gotta give a shout out to Tim at Basic AF Podcast Studio.
Yes, indeed.
Studio 505 in Wilmington. Shout out to Fred Reed.
Yes, sir.
Locked the studio down for as long as we did.
Yes, sir, man. Beautiful, beautiful setup though. I ain't gonna lie, when I walked in.
Man, having Tim, we had like a full circle. We already had it was like a year ago, but Tim, when I was in the music business, I was running an independent label, People Like Us Media. Tim shot a short film for us.
Yeah.
A Streets is Watching style movie.
Dying, yeah.
Called Get to Know Me with my artist Al One Thing and my man Dana Black and all of that shit.
Okay.
So having Tim come back to the city, he was, in Atlanta and in Hollywood and he was all over the place doing high level film production. So to have him back in the area as a resource, man, is like an instant, help to us, man. He
see the quality in here, everything, the whole setup, the way it's being ran. Like, I appreciate it. Not everything is set up that way. You know what I mean? And you can tell you got years and your team got years in. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta give y'all flowers for that.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I mean? So shout out to y'all for sure, because, you know what I mean? It's not only is it welcoming, but we had great conversation and, I was taken care of. And that's important for artists to pay attention to the people that take care of you.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because not every podcast is the same. Not every media person is the same. Not every business that you interact with is the same. A lot of times we get in our own head and our ego get in the way, and we treat people the same because you had a bad experience with 10 podcasts, so you go on the 11th one, you treat them shitty. You know what I mean? Like, no, I like to acknowledge the people that take care of me. So
No,
shout
I
out to
appreciate
y'all.
it, bro. And like you said, we locked in. You definitely gonna be seeing. I try to post as much as I can. I don't know if you peep it, but on our socials and stuff, you throw something up, I share it or whatever, just to to bring light in it because I believe in you. I believe in your talent, and I already know where you're going. So whatever we can do to amplify that, I'm down to do it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, my guy.
Appreciate you, brother. We out.